Dinars return? Yo! Augmentation Evoker can no longer buff tanks and healers and patch. What the fuck is getting announced today? Why is today randomly just the day?
Okay, let's get it. Dude, look at the whip. Okay, I know people are like, oh, it's just like drying and riding, but on the ground. Maybe it's just because I drive around or fly around a lot in WoW while I'm just talking. But the idea that you're going to have a car that can like drift and fucking... Bro, that's going to be insane. Blow up. Presented by Razer. That's so interesting. I don't know if I remember ever seeing that. I don't know if I've ever seen something from WoW branded and presented by something. Like, for example, people like I remember for a couple of years, like the AWC community was like really mad about Blizzard's prize pool for events, but like they don't do events to make a profit. It's not the MDI, TGP, or AWC presented by Razer, presented by Honda, right? They take a direct loss on it. And it's just basically and they have the ability to get sponsors. They just don't want to. But they decide to do it on WoWcast. I wonder if they're already doing some kind of like, here's what I think is likely the case. This doesn't matter, by the way. I'm just speculating, but they probably are doing like maybe some kind of big deal with Razer. Like there's going to be some Razer Warcraft headsets or some kind of like bigger collaboration, and then like when they were signing the deals for that, they threw in some like branded content with it, because I imagine it'd be crazy if they just were like, you know what, we at Razer really want to just like be a part of the WoWcast. I bet it was something they threw in to make some numbers make sense. Or maybe this is like a something that, did they have anything to do with that Mountain Dew bundle? Was Razer involved in that? Maybe this is like something from that. I don't know. Razer is so bad though. Yeah. Quick little double check. Just in case some shit changed. Oh, Visa. Look at that. I have one of those. All right, yeah. Okay, so I bought Razer content, or I bought Razer stuff when I was... this was like when I first started like gaming real hard. Like I was in college, and it was like during Throne of Thunder, I think. And I like got a computer for the first time, so I was like going out and buying peripherals. And I remember Razer had like a holiday sale, so I was just like, dude, Razer looks so cool. That's what gamers buy. So then I just bought so much shit. I bought like a keyboard, a headset, the Razer Naga, and I got used to like doing all that stuff. And I think every single product that I bought broke within well, so this is the opposite of what WoWcast wants by being presented by Razer, is me just shit-talking their sponsor. And this was 10 years ago, but literally all of it broke. I actually went through 4 Razer Nagas in 3 years. Crazy, the quality there. But anyways, shout out Razer.
Hello and welcome to WoWcast.
Link CW.
Today we're diving deeper underground into the next content update for the world.
I'm gonna have to turn this shit up.
Undermined. Joining me today are 2 developers from the team who helped bring this update to life. Please introduce yourselves.
Oh, I don't know either of them.
Hi, I'm David Hollings. I'm a game designer who focuses primarily on Battleground and arena maps.
Hi, I'm Mark Collada. I'm an assistant lead quest
designer.
I've
seen him in an interview before, but because I remember from the quest thing. But yeah, 2 things that I know nothing about.
Undermined update.
Thank you for joining us today. Let's jump right in. What made Undermined the perfect location for this major update?
Undermined is a location that we've seen throughout the lore of World of Warcraft for quite a while, both in manuals back from 1999. I think it was just like a little location at the south of the map, to Cataclysm and seeing it in gossip text and other interactions with Goblin. So for us, it didn't make a lot of sense to put it in the first 4 zones, but it certainly makes a lot of sense to put it here. Another thing that we really wanted to do when we were looking at Undermined was goblins. Goblins, of course, are this zany, creative, chaotic race that we have in World of Warcraft, and we really haven't seen a lot of development in their culture and who they are, their stories. And so this is our way of making sure that, like, hey, players, we want to give you more stories that are based in cultures that we have not yet seen in the world, but then also make sure that we are connecting it back to the larger story as a whole within the World Soul Saga and especially the War Within.
Sorry, I know you guys
For
can hear a
us, at least,
vacuum.
we get to do really cool stuff. We get to interface with the 4 different
It's not a weird
cartels,
audio
the
problem.
Bilgewater,
There just is a
Blackwater,
vacuum.
Steamweedle, and Venture Co.
It's vacuuming.
And each one of them and their leaders, as we've got to know throughout World of Warcraft. So we have Monty Gazlo for Bilgewater, Marin Noggenfogger for Steamweedle, Baron Rebel
God, the theme is so crazy, bro.
Don't worry.
Let's, you know what we need to do after this? Someone needs to like pull up not the expansion releases, but the patches for the last like 6 years. Wait, there's a tier list we used on the Potty C to rate patches. Okay, I should use that tier list to purely rate how cool the theme of a patch is. Because I feel like Undermined, someone in chat said this earlier, it's probably like the coolest theme in like 10 or 13 years. Like I remember the Throne of Thunder patch was so thematic and the island was like just deeply enriched in theme, like troll theme. And this feels like that. I don't remember one that was quite like this. I mean, it's kind of subjective because theme can appeal to different people, but like this one is so good.
If you've been killing goblins in Booty Bay, you'll be fine there.
Hi, Rep.
Yeah. And then Venture Co., not a cartel.
How
but
long
you'll
is
see
this?
what
It's
we have
12
in
minutes.
store for them. Normally antagonists, but much like everything with goblins, they can shift their allegiances based on whatever it is that they choose to. And we will explain that more within this.
I'm so excited to learn more about the goblins and their crazy antics. Speaking of the cartels, if we partner with the cartels, what do we get from that?
So the experience that you have within Undermined will change based on the different cartels you ally with. So if you decide to go with Blackwater, Baron Revelgaz will be the one blabbing at you in World Quest in his very awesome, what is a pirate goblin sort of voice. And you'll go around and do different things for the Blackwater cartel. And with that, you will also be able to unlock customized.
Max, goblins are so fucking lame, man. I cannot stand them. I actually hate the theme of this patch. All right, well, look past the goblins then. Can you fuck with like the steampunk casino shit?
For your car,
'Cause I fuck with that.
Transmogs, toys, sort of the general things that we would expect to come out of a friendship reputation that you're earning throughout the experience.
Bro, we get a
Speaking of
fucking drifting
cars,
car.
This
Oh!
new vehicle system drive was mentioned in the Warcraft Direct recently. David, do you have more information?
Yo, Lynxie's such a beast. You know how much confidence you have to rock the fucking leather arm things that she's going on here? That goes crazy. I could never.
I do, yeah. DRIVE, which stands for Dynamic and Revolutionary Improvements to Vehicular Experiences.
She's got fucking bracers on,
is
yeah.
going to be the new
That's
way
crazy.
you get around Undermine. It's roughly 3 to 5 times faster than a ground mount and a little faster than skywriting at full speed.
I think once people really get a feel for that speed, I guarantee people will really start to see just how fast this car is pretty quick.
How does progression work with the vehicles?
Right, so you'll get your car from Nanny Tallulah, and she's gonna send you on some shipping and handling activities to gain some currency and get some new parts for your ride, and you'll be able to customize your ride, whether you're getting new colors, make it faster, or even change how it drifts. You'll be able to make it your own. Throttle control is going to be extremely important when you're trying to control your car.
I have pretty good faith that they'll end up doing this really well, only for one reason, and that's just because dragon riding is sick. It took a while for dragon riding. I guess I had like a whole beta for it, so like maybe it's not 1-to-1, but
around those like really tight turns of the Undermine.
Also, we do
Skirt.
have
I'll beat all of you guys
timekeeper
in a race, by the
races
way.
that players can go and challenge themselves to 4 courses. We have both the forward and the reverse course.
Wait,
and then
wait, let's watch this.
we
Keep
wanted
going,
to
keep going.
see how you decide to make it your own with other players. If you want to do your montage as you're taking
we saw a little drift in there.
4 courses. We have both
So this guy's just like holding the gas pedal and
the
never
forward
drifting.
and the reverse course, and then
Right? He's
we
just holding
wanted
that
to
shit
see
down.
How you
This
decide to make
person,
it your
they hit a little drift right here. It looks like they hold their speed.
own with other players.
Skirt.
If you want to do
Oh, drifting is your gaining speed. He's definitely going faster, or is it the way the camera is warped that makes it seem like you're going faster? Kind of like how dragon riding has the streaks going by you, but you're not actually going faster. It just appears that way.
we want to just see how you
Look, like right
It's like
here, right when he takes this left turn, it looks like It looks like it gains you speed. And also, isn't that like, yeah, kind of like Mario Kart? The idea is you want to, like, if you drift correctly, it's just faster, even though that's not how cars work at all. But, like, you know, video game cars, hitting a good drift is good for speed.
Make it your own with other players. If you want to do your montages, you're taking a drift in front of the hotel and put it to your favorite music, and please do, right? Like, we really want to see how people make this sort of like an experience they're getting into themselves.
All right, now let's switch gears and let's talk about delves.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah. What the fuck are you going to do with Delves? Have we had like a... It's been out for one season now, retrospective on Delves? I guess it always comes back to the same thing. Everyone that I talk to just has a similar perspective as me, except for like some people in my stream chat. And then like we all just come to the conclusion that I guess Delves weren't made for us, so we aren't good to give criticism on it anyway, but it seems super whatever. That's like what happens every single time. You need a mole representative.
my pun, okay?
There will be 2 new delves, Excavation Site 9
Yeah,
and
see,
Side
but,
Street
like-
Sluice,
like, who
as well
cares,
as new
you know?
variants of Goblin-themed delves for the majority of the War Within delves. There will also be a new Zekvir-style encounter as well that's going to be hosting all new rewards.
So all new rewards for Zekvir, and there's gonna be a new... Okay, so we assumed when Zekvir came out that they were gonna... They used the words Mage Tower to describe it before it was released. They said, it's super hard. We did a play test internally this week and no one defeated it. And then it came out and it was like hard for all the wrong reasons. Like it was like bullshit and one-shotty, and it was like depending on what role you were playing. That's like also like kind of how the Mage Tower was when it first came out. Like some like it's almost identical. For some classes it was really easy, and some classes it was impossible. And most people completed it with multiple more seasons of gear to make it easier. But people were okay with that back then. They're kind of not now. They have to be able to do it right away, which I think creates a pretty interesting design challenge for them. And it's like intended to be done within the season because there's a new one in the next season, right? So, I don't know. I'm interested for sure. But I don't know. I think they missed the mark a little bit. I think the initial bit was too hard, and the thing afterwards was too easy. So.
Oh, cool. Do you have an example of one of the rewards?
There will be a new mount, the Gobtrotter mount, with new customization options as well, including a gold variant version for the challenge mode.
Oh, similar to
Yeah, that thing is sick.
like the Void one that's out right now if you beat Zekvir.
Exactly.
Can you tell us more about Side Street Sluice and Excavation Site 9?
So Side Street Sluice in
What
the
is that?
sewers of Undermined.
Oh, are these
and
delves?
you will get
Yeah.
to see what Dark Fuse is trying to do in the sewers, what control they're exerting within the space.
The initial
and
PTR
the
build
other
notes
sort
are
of
up.
antics
Yeah, guys, we're
of
watching the Wowcast right now.
goblins away from the public eye and their machinations within the sewers. And Excavation Site 9 takes place in a new section behind Opportunity Point at the south of where we're going in the Ring Deeps. In it, you're going to see sort of like void corruption overtaking Titan ruins to sort of show this eternal conflict we have seen through the history of World of Warcraft of Titans versus void. Within it, of course, you will go and see why it is called Excavation Site 9 with the goblin-themed antics that are down there. It is a super cool environmental storytelling sort of.
So is our trusty sidekick still Bran Bronzebeard?
Our trusty sidekick is still Bran Bronzebeard. So we decided to go with Bran for the entirety of the War Within, as he is a character people have grown fond of early on in Season 1, with all of his meme potential about webs and Nerubians popping out of them. And also it gives us an opportunity to rethink what a sort of expansion level companion will be, instead of season over season constantly changing and forcing people to relearn the mechanics, the abilities, sort of the kit that Bran has. Also, within Season 2 and at the launch of the Undermined update, Bran will be receiving a new tank specialization. So if you're a healer,
That's big.
you no longer have to
We
feel
learned about
you
that
need
before,
to
though.
spec change into a role that isn't the one that you're connected to. He'll be a ranged tank, so he has a shield and a gun, and then a new set of abilities that he will receive for that. Not only that, but we also have goblin curios that we're putting in there, goblin-themed curios. So a dwarf, such as Bran Bronzebeard, with sort of his personality and how sort of larger than life he is.
Bro, what is he gonna do with that
going to do
magnet?
when he's interacting with rockets and bombs and malfunctioning devices throughout the delving? There is a special curio that you can receive from doing the challenge encounter.
Oh.
And it'll allow Bran to call down a mech that you then, as a player, can pilot in the
No.
delve.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so it's going to just tie into sort of the goblin fantasy of everything we have within Undermine.
Now let's talk about Season 2, which starts 1 week after the Undermine update. let's go straight into PvP.
Yeah, so there's going to be a new arena called the Cage of Carnage, and it's unlike any arena we've ever done before. We took a look at the map pool and we noticed that we were missing a couple smaller maps. So we decided to make this map a little bit more cutthroat. Players will be dropped in through a trap door and separated only by a metal platform that'll have ramps on every corner. It's going to be quite a tight fit. It should make for some explosive
That looks
gameplay.
super chaotic, actually. I don't watch a lot of PvP, but like when I watch Arena, the map choices are kind of interesting because like they play totally differently. This looks like such a... Like imagine if you get knocked here. There's no quick access to getting back up. Like you are down and out of LOS of your healer, and imagine you get knocked here and the other your healer gets knocked here. You are dead. You are going to die, you know? Isn't that just Blade's Edge? Oh, maybe, dude. I don't know shit about PvP. Spacebar? Well, you can't jump up here. You'd have to run all the way around. You can probably go under. Oh, yeah, this does look like a bridge because you can see under here with the grates. Yeah, you're right.
Well, that's
I'm
what
just making shit
PvP
up.
players can expect. What can PvE players expect in Season 2?
Yeah, so there's going to be a new dungeon called Operation Floodgate. It's going to be a 4-boss dungeon that's taking place in the Ringing Deeps. It's going to be at that big dam. It's going to be a
So it shows the boss. Well, that looks like a trash pack.
4-boss
That's a boss. Girl with dragon breath gun.
dungeon that's
Tree man. Bosses that have been themed after trees or look kind of tree-like have historically been excellent dungeon bosses for whatever it's worth. Like very high rating of
taking
bosses.
place.
And this boss has a regular form, and then their shocks happen and they turn into a skelly.
in the Ringing Deep.
Oh no, yeah, it's tree bosses fuck tanks. Oh, I guess is the boss in... Oh, it is a tree, the one in Waycrest. Okay, well, that boss didn't actually used to be bad. It was only bad... Like, do you guys know that stun mechanic on Waycrest actually existed all the way through BFA? And it just never mattered. And then they just, like, overtuned it when they brought it back, and it was just the most annoying shit of all time. That's so bad that they did that.
It's going to be at that big dam that you might have seen, and we are preventing Ventrico and Dark Fuse from knocking over that dam and flooding the region. So players can enter this dungeon immediately, but Mythic Plus will come out once the season begins. The new Mythic Plus dungeon rotation will include the new dungeon Operation Floodgate, as well as the 4 remaining War Within dungeons, but it will also include some older dungeons, the Mechagon Workshop, the Motherlode, and the Theater of Pain.
Sorry about Theater of Pain. You're going to be farming my trinkets yet again. I know Soul Letting Ruby is one of the very popular ones that people went after.
I'll be going after that.
And then, of course, with Mechagon, we do have our lovely Cogwheel Skill Shot trinket
Top and Motherload, it's so damn over.
that I'm with Theater of
Let's
Pain.
see.
On Workshop, the 4 Plus dungeon rotation immediately, but Mythic Plus will come out once the season begins. The new Mythic Plus dungeon rotation will include the new dungeon Operation Floodgate, as well as the 4 remaining War Within dungeons, but it will also include some older dungeons, the Mechagon Workshop,
Hey, everyone has different opinions of dungeons. I think Mechagon Workshop slaps.
the Motherlode,
Motherload does slap, but I don't know why. I have a feeling that when they've brought back dungeons, they've usually made unsavory changes, and with the amount of mob count that potentially exists in the Motherload, and how much like niche, weird mob tagging stuff you used to do to kind of make that palatable, I feel like Motherload, and I hope I'm not speaking this into existence, but I feel like Motherload has a chance to be like really fucking bad when they Dragonflight in the War Withinify Motherload, because dungeons have changed a lot since BFA. Like there's already a lot of friction between like dungeons should just be big pulls versus like dungeons should every pull should challenge you in a different way. If they do that to Motherload, I think people are going to hate it.
and the Theater of Pain.
Yep. Sorry about Theater of Pain. You're going to be farming my trinkets yet again. I know.
Wait, what did he say?
Older dungeons, the Mechagon Workshop, the Motherlode, and the Theater of Pain.
Sorry about Theater of Pain.
Sorry about Theater of Pain.
You're going to be farming my trinkets yet again. I know Soul Letting Ruby is one of the very popular ones that people went after.
I'll be going after that.
And then, of course, with Mechagon, we do
Because he made it? Oh, yeah. No one person creates a dungeon, but it sounds like he made some. It sounded like just a way he wanted to start talking about the trinkets. But I also think that's an overused talking point a little bit, in my opinion. Like, I think most Mythic Plus people agree that, like, having a different dungeon pool every season is a good thing. I know there is a crowd of people that actually did enjoy having the same dungeons for 2 years. but that is definitely a minority. So the thing is, if you're going to have 8+ new dungeons every season, you're going to have to bring dungeons back. That's been established. And every time they bring back a not banger dungeon, everyone's like, oh, this dungeon again. Guys, if they just, as soon as they started bringing back old dungeons, if they just brought back all of the bangers, you would be out of bangers in like 3 or 4 seasons. It would have happened a year ago, 2 years ago. You would have ran out of good dungeons. Clearly, they are mixing in the great, well-liked dungeons with the other ones because they have to, you know? Like, they're going to just, obviously, from a game design point, do that rather than bring back bangers and just keep bringing them back. Because also, like, what makes a banger, right? It's not completely agreed. There's actually not that. We did a tier list recently. Not a tier list, but, like, me, Dratnos, Dorky, and Growl, I think, did, like, our top 10 dungeons ever. And there was so much variance. There was, like, only a few dungeons that were universally... And that's just between us 4. We all come from a similar background. There's like, think about the majority of people who just do no high. They don't think about high keys ever. They just go to a 10 to get the portals. They might have a totally different opinion on certain dungeons than high key people would, right? So like, there is no objective like good. There's very few objective good dungeons. I can name like a couple off the top of my head that are kind of well liked by everyone, but they're just gonna have to bring back some ones that aren't good sometimes to keep the stuff bringing back, you know.
You're going to be farming my trinkets yet again. I know Soul Letting Ruby is one of the very popular ones that people went after.
I'll be going after that.
And then, of course, with Mechagon, we do have our lovely Cogwheel Skill Shot trinket that I'm really excited to see people use again, especially when they're...
Call a mecha cycle to crash into your target and explode, inflicting... Yeah, that was actually... that was good for a time, and it's like a fun different trinket
other motorcycles in Undermined. Yeah.
No one uses this. So some people actually did use that. It wasn't. I don't think it was ever like BIS, but people used it a lot early in the patch.
And the raid itself.
This trinket came from lower Mechagon, not Workshop, though. That's interesting. So that means they either changed the loot table and put this on the loot table, or they just got that wrong, and this won't actually be in the patch. Which is, well, actually. Don't we know it's going to be in the patch because it kind of has an eye level marker, which means this is probably straight from the PTR. Like that's what it is with old eye level, and this is it scaled up, which it means it's probably in there somehow. I don't know what they did though.
Now let's talk about the new raid, Liberation of Undermined.
Okay, so Liberation of Undermined. It is going to be an 8-boss raid. It will unlock a week after the Undermined update goes out. And then we have our story mode also unlocking a week after that. So we saw success with Nerebar Palace and Queen Ansarek in terms of people going into the story mode. You get to experience the encounter, you get to see the cinematics. And for us, Galliowix's encounter is a really core part of the story that we are telling within the Undermined update, and so of course it was a no-brainer. We wanted to make sure that we gave you that story mode so you can go in there as well. In regards to this 8-boss raid, things in Undermined happen.
Oh, let's hear about the raid, baby.
And the raid itself is very much...
Look at this shit. Look at this fucking boss.
As well. So of course it was a no-brainer. We wanted to make sure that we gave you that story mode so you can go in there as well.
This looks like a mini, like trash.
In regards to this 8-boss raid,
this is a boss. So this is like either an intermission dodge phase where like it looks like there's some like bomb carts going across.
Undermined happens the Goblin way. And the raid itself is very much a way with which you can see what zany, crazy encounters our encounter designers cooked up and did it what zany...
Wait, this looks like a boss too. Maybe you have to find a way to mix between like the poison and the fire stuff.
Crazy.
Okay, are these the new
dodge.
swirlies? Look, WoW swirly. Is there an image of it? So this is what a WoW swirlies looked like for a long time, right? Like something's about to hit the ground. It doesn't really have that. It's like this. This is what a WoW swirly looks like. They said in an interview with me recently that they like are implementing new swirlies. I wonder if it's this.
A way with which you can see what
Wait,
zany,
I wonder if that's a swirly.
crazy encounters
Actually, that could have been like a debuff
our
circle.
encounter designers cooked up.
No,
and did it
those look like swirlies.
in a way that's very...
Those are the swirlies.
Any crazy encounters our encounter designers cooked up.
Right there, because it spawned on his character and then he was moving out of it. Now it has a very defined edge. The question is whether the animation's actually going to line up with that edge, but I think it will because it's such a clear animation where like it was always with these that like you just couldn't always tell because the end is like faded, right? If you opened this image in a new tab, right? Like if you zoomed in right on the edge, like the hit, everyone who plays WoW knows the hitbox is like somewhere in between like here and here. But the visual for that is horrible. It's like it fades out intentionally, you know? But like with this, that is as clear as day where the edge is. So you can definitely hit your raid leader with a look at my body, a classic look at my body reaction to getting hit by something, and it'll be obvious.
In a way that's very goblin-y. A couple notable examples that I would call out is we have the Cauldron of Carnage that is going to have a gorilla versus a mechanical Tyrannosaurus that are going to fight each other.
Oh, and more of the swirlies. Bro, for people who have been arguing that like WoW mechanics should be more visual and like they were arguing for like the WildStar Final Fantasy reticles, that is as close to this as you're ever going to get. That is as clear as fuck.
Kind of a reference.
And they're bright red and
We have
bright
the
blue
big
too.
Tank that does the massive J-turn flame shooting out of it. And then we have our DJ boss who compels you by the power of sound in order to listen
The theme is just goated.
to
It's just-
Gallywix
it's
and
simply
not to
goated.
anyone else. And then lastly, of course, the Gallywix encounter. Once people see that mech and also what the mythic mount will be, I feel a lot of people are going to be trying to see how they can get to cutting edge because it is wild.
Is it like new Mim's head
I'm
or
very
something?
excited about the Carnage fight because that T-Rex, the Mechasaur, that also has a chance to drop a mount. And as a collector,
Is that the mount?
I want that mount.
It is the mount. Bro, this mount looks insane. Bro, what a fucking sales dream. We need gold so bad. This is the best thing I could ever
It's
see.
the coolest mount in the game, in my opinion.
Are there any other rewards we can look out for?
Well, with a new raid comes new gear sets and set bonuses, and these set bonuses are going
W.
to be themed around the Magnificent Galagio. Whether
Oh, so it's like casino. Oh, that's what people were saying, casino themed. So set, gain luck of the
you're
draw.
a tank that wants a little bit more luck of the draw, or a healer that needs a little bit added insurance, the two set bonuses are going to be unique.
To answer the person's question earlier, I don't think this is a Luigi Mangione bit. I bet this was in play for a long time before that happened. But it is certainly interesting.
Per role, but the 4 set bonuses are going to be unique per specialization, and there should be something for everyone.
It's a good bit.
Before we wrap up, what are you both most excited for with this update?
Oh, it's got to be drive for me. I mean, I cannot wait to start drifting around the Undermined between queues. It's going to be my new anti-AFK activity for sure.
Going in circles, just like how we always do in new
Absolutely, but
zones.
this time sideways.
Skirt.
excited
Whoa,
for-
wait.
Be my
Bro,
new anti-AFK
you all see him hitting that shit?
activity
Hold the fuck
for
up.
Sure.
Going in circles, just like
Look at this fucking drift.
how we always do in new
Absolutely, but
zones.
this time sideways.
So I'm
No way. Dude, okay. This patch is sick.
excited for 2 things about the Undermine update.
No
One,
way.
I finally get to be able to talk about Undermine, which is awesome. 2, players getting to
This is the
experience
coolest
new
patch ever.
take on Goblin culture. One of the things that the team from StoryCorps all the way down that we have really
Holy
been excited
fuck.
about is really showing a more relatable story about goblins. And I cannot wait for people to see the passion that has gone into everything about Undermine. I cannot wait for people to experience from our local stories to our main campaign. There is a lot of love and care and passion put into Undermine that really resonates throughout the whole experience, and it really was this moment of just everyone who is excited to work on goblins. We finally were able to be like, here it is. Let's do our best that we can in terms of creating this super compelling story.
Thank you guys so much for talking to me about Undermined, and thank you for tuning into Wowcast, and we'll see you next time in Undermined.
W Linksy. All right, cool. I liked everything about that. Well, except for the first like 8 minutes. I didn't. That's just that isn't geared to me. But holy fuck, that raid looked cool. Wait, let me see if they gave us any more snippets of raid bosses. That would be kind of interesting.
the
I don't
Cauldron
think
of
so. I'll put it on
Carnage.
mute. I think it was like it's like this one you're coming in. This looks like kind of near the entrance because I know you end up going in the casino. This one like gives huge Grong vibes, like Grong v Thok. I wonder what the purpose of this battle is. Are you fighting for one of them? Do you have to defeat both of them who are also trying to defeat each other? Are you just trying to survive as you are among the wreckage of these two, or Godzilla King Kong kind of shit? Yeah. You bet this is the second or third boss? Yeah, this is definitely not an intro boss, but it's like, it's going to be around there, kind of similar to Thok. This is also, I think everything outside is going to be like an earlier boss, probably. So this is of that same, and this shows people in the middle of the fights. Like, this is clearly like an intermission, right? The car's going to go skirt mode, and then, like, you have these swirlies you have to dodge and lines. Those are always pretty fun. This is still outside. I bet this one will be, like, one of the last ones you do before going in. You know? But what? Oh, no, this is the DJ boss. Yeah, I bet this is, like, gonna be like this one gives strong like 6th boss vibes, you know, like a Painsmith, maybe a Smolderon, maybe a Nexus Princess, something like that, like, because it's like a DJ boss, but it's like it's got this big room, seems important enough. Council of Blood, yeah, could do something like that. And then, well, they keep mentioning these bosses, and then they go, and then you finally get to Gallywix. So maybe Gallywix is the only one inside. Bro, there's a boss called Rick Reverb. Holy shit, what a name. I mean, so they said there's going to, once you guys see the mount, people are going to, like, want to log in. I mean, is this the mount? I mean, this could easily be the mount, right? It's basically like new, cooler Mim's head, if you just remove the nostalgia of Mim's head. I mean, this thing's smoking a fucking cigarette, man. And then the other mount, too. Like, yeah, this is cool, but what about this, bro? First of all, that mount is massive. That's not even a gnome riding it either, right? Like, that's like a human or maybe like an undead or something. I don't recognize the model, but, like, you could make this way bigger. Max, have you went over the new tier sets? I haven't done. I just got done watching the WoWcast. We can go to Wowhead now, though. Okay, so feedback for class sets in the War Within. We have Undermined development notes. Where do we start, boys? Okay. Wait, what? Season 2 Mythic Plus changes, new and reworked affixes, new achievement for no depletes. Oh, no depletes at plus 12 with a new achievement. Wait. Oh, whoa, hold the fuck on. Is that Wowhead clickbait? 12s will no longer deplete. 12 plus no deplete is a nothing burger change for 95% of players. It's actually higher than that. I think it's like 97%. But those 3% of people are usually the loudest voices in the community and all of the content creators that are Mythic Plus based and stuff. So it'll definitely be a huge topic. But also I haven't even read it yet and I feel like I'm getting clickbaited. Fuck, what do I do? What do I read first? Let's pull it up. Let's put it up to the people. All right, let's look at this Mythic Plus shit. Okay, I want to read it from the blue tracker. I'm not reading this garbaggio. Okay, whatever. This is probably straight from there. New account-wide achievement, the War Within Keystone Legend. So there is Keystone Hero, Keystone Master, and now Keystone Legend. To get Legend, you attain a Mythic Plus rating of at least 2850 during the War Within Season 2. Failing to clear a Mythic Plus dungeon within the timer will no longer reduce the level of your keystones below 12 for the season. Oh, okay. So, wait. Keystone from the weekly vault will not decay below level 12 for this achievement, and the keystone can still be lowered below level 12 by speaking to Lindormi. Okay, so it's just simply... So simply you just cannot go from 13... You cannot go from 12 to 11, which... And that's it. You can still deplete high keys. It's just once you have a 12, like, that's a 12 forever. That sounds really good, right? Because I remember Dorky and Megaset one week on the podcast said that anytime you have to, like, go do an 11 or something, you just, like, forget that there's affixes, and then you get there and you're like, wow, this sucks. I wish there was none of these. So, like, it'll just make that happen less. Actually, yeah, I just think like that's actually such a random... I mean, I kind of get it. You can lower it for sure, manual. Yeah, but, like... They said whenever it did happen, it sucked. They made a Mythic Plus checkpoint, basically. Yeah, but I still think, like, this entire thing is, like, not... You know what is kind of interesting, though? You know how we talked about how Blizzard doesn't do a good enough job of building a bridge between... Like, there's this clear designed ramp of difficulty, and then it hard ends at a 10. You get these portals, and then it's like, why are you doing an 11? And then when you are saying, why do you do a 12? It's, like, way harder. So it's like, of course I'll never do a 12. But now people might feel incentivized to go for a 12 because it's just another achievement, right? It's something else to... It's the first time they've put a... Besides the end of the season, like, 0.5% title, which is, like, the Mythic Plus equivalent of, like, Glad. That is... this achievement is, like, a way to kind of bridge into just doing high keys at all because 12s are such an achievement over an 11. Huh. I mean, I definitely like it.
I mean, it's directly addressing a concern. I think most of this won't apply to a lot of people, but I think for who it does apply to, this is just a good thing. So that's cool. Okay, so we have new affixes. Unified enemy buffs on Xal'atath's bargain affixes. With Xal'atath's gift, increasing damage done up to 50% and reducing damage taken up to 100% for 20 seconds on all nearby enemies in combat. I don't even know what these are called. Let's read the new affix. Okay, replaces Oblivion. Which one is Oblivion, chat? Which one is Oblivion? That's the Orb Soak. Oh, that was the one that people really didn't like, right? Okay. And now that new one will summon pulsars that orbit players and replaces that. Xal'atath's Guile has been redesigned. That's the one... Oh, yeah. So now causes keystones above level 12 to increase health and damage by 12% per level instead of 10. Wait, so they're making keys above 12 scale harder? That's interesting, right? Because... I mean, the people who are going higher, like, it doesn't really matter how much higher it goes, because, like, the more levels they have to do, the more content there is. I don't know if there's really any value in actually making the jump between each level more significant. Maybe it's because they've nerfed 11 to 12, specifically? So, like, 11 to 12 isn't that massive, right? It says, now causes keystones above level 12 to increase health and damage by 12% per level instead of 10. But did it used to include 12, and now it's above? Or maybe this is a way for them to make sense of there being no well, that's not really how depleting works. So they're making 12s easier, which is what you get for the achievement, but they're making the stuff above 12 harder. It's removing the 10% health and damage. Okay, everyone's saying different things. We'll wait till someone clears this up. We don't have to do it now. Xal'atath's Bargain Voidbound has been redesigned. What is that one? What is the, what's Voidbound? That's the one where the ads spawn. Okay. Dark Prayer now has a 15-second cast time and grants all nearby enemies in combat Xal'atath's gift when the cast completes. No longer grants damage reduction while active. Oh, well, I don't even fucking, cool. I think W, right? So now we've looked at the Mythic Plus specific one. Now we can look at tier set bonuses. Okay, do they just have them all listed? All right, let's read why they're doing what they're doing. For class sets in Season 2, we're exploring a new direction and would like to give players an early look at them. In the War Within Season 2 class sets will have their 2-piece set bonuses designs split by role, healer, tank, ranged damage, and melee damage, and their 4-piece set bonuses designs split by spec. So what used to be the 2 and 4-piece were designed for the spec. Now it's just the 4-piece and 2-piece. So what? So there's only going to be 4 2-pieces in the game? There's just a healer, tank, ranged, and melee one? Is that what they're saying? Let me read an example. Oh, so winning. Okay, so this kind of goes with their theme. I see. So all melee DPS get winning streak. All tanks get luck of the draw. And then their 4-piece is based on luck of the draw, but like in a different way. So like this one is specifically referencing like abilities that you use. Okay, so initial thought is it's like, okay, they have to make less tier bonuses. That's the pessimistic way of looking at it, is like, okay, they're just doing less. But to be honest with you, what even is a 2-piece in WoW? Like, I feel like a 2-piece most of the time is setting up a cool 4-piece, or it's just saying something really basic like you do more damage. So, like, really, has there even been spec-specific 2-pieces that are somewhat significant? Probably pretty rarely for a long time. So I don't think that this necessarily means it's, like, less good by that being the case, but I certainly could see the pessimistic. Like, if you are someone who already doesn't trust Blizzard and you're like, I hate Blizzard, I love this game, but I fucking hate Blizzard, and fuck them, right? Like, you're gonna for sure see that, and they know they're gonna get the reaction from those people, like, that it's just like you're being lazy and fuck you. But I want to like read it first, I guess. So like, let's look at the tank thing, right? So each time you take damage, you have a chance to activate Luck of the Draw. So based on maybe some kind of RPPM or has some kind of internal cooldown, or it's just based on the amount of mobs you're tanking, is causing you to cast Survival Instincts for 4 seconds. Wait, what? The Druid spell? Your damage done is increased by 15% for 8 seconds after Luck of the Draw. I'm assuming this Survival Instincts just means their main defensive cooldown and they just put the Druid one there. So like for Druid, this would be Survival Instincts. For Blood Decay, this would be Vampiric Blood or Dancing Rune Weapon, or for Warrior, it would be Shield Wall. It's a copy-paste ability thing. And then your damage done is increased by 15% for 8 seconds after Luck of the Draw activates. Okay, and then, okay, let's just read the 4-piece. So Luck of the Draw is a 2-second increased duration. That's when you get your 4-piece, so this just becomes
50% better, your 2-piece. And then while it's active, Death and Strike costs 2 less runic power and can strike 2 additional nearby enemies. Okay, wow, doesn't Death Strike hit like kind of hard? Okay, either way, I've just read one of these, but I think they're kind of cooking. So we always talked about how tanks specifically are so volatile from season to season because it feels like you have to hit the RNG lottery on your tuning. Like, basically, if you guys haven't been paying attention, tank tier is so powerful. Like, it's really easy to tune healing tier and DPS tier because it's just like there's a throughput number you can look at and adjust. For tanks, it's much more murky. It's hard to understand how powerful something is because, yes, their damage matters and staying alive matters, but like how valuable being defensive is to a tank is like potentially crazy powerful. And like basically if you were to talk about some of the most impactful tier bonuses over the last, well, I guess there was like a few years where we didn't have them, but like for the last 10 years, the most powerful ones have all been tank ones because the potential power of like a really high roll defensive and offensive tier set in the same package, which has happened multiple times. You remember Blood DK's End of Shadowlands famously or Vengeance Demon Hunters. Like there's just things that you like a healer, if a healer or a DPS ever had tier that strong, it would exist for 2 weeks and get nerfed. But for some reason, like tanks are just like looked at a little differently in that way. So maybe a way to combat that is you give tanks all the same 2-piece, so you're kind of working off the same like recipe, and then you can kind of just cook the 4-piece a little bit to kind of balance them a little better. But also, like, I don't know, if every single tank set bonus had a 2-piece that sounded something like this, but it was unique, but basically did the same thing, it would be the same as this, Like, this just seems like a quality, good 2-piece in the history of, like, tank 2-pieces. Like, it's just nice, Like, it's going to be up a decent amount of time. You're going to be getting random procs of a defensive, which, like, changes the way you're playing. Sometimes maybe you can hold a cooldown because you get a couple good procs in a row. Like, it's going to actively change your gameplay. And the damage done thing is just going to be something that's just up. You probably don't think about that too much, but I just like the 2-piece. Like, that sounds fun as a tank, right? All depends on the chance, but regardless, sounds fun. And it's something every tank has. So even if it's powerful, it's not like one tank is too powerful where there's like a lot of variance when you have to create 5 things that are all basically this that like compete with each other. And if you play every tank, maybe it gets like kind of boring, maybe. But like if you're someone who just mains one tank, I don't really think it matters to you what the other tank's 2 pieces are as long as one isn't crazy more powerful than yours, but they're the same, right? Okay, so and then the 4-piece, the way the Blood DKs have chose to play off of this is making Death Strike cleave, which is actually a really good damage profile, I think. I don't know how hard Death Strike still hits, but it used to hit really fucking hard. So this would make them like randomly really good at like 2 to 3 target cleave. I don't think the Death Strike runic power change matters that much. It would certainly add up over the course of a fight, but like even in one pull, for example, this wouldn't actually mean you get an extra Death Strike off. So it's pretty low power defensively, except for the fact that your random, in quotes, shield wall procs are going to be 50% longer. That's solid. That's because the 2-piece exists, right? Okay, either way, let's go ahead and read some more input into why Blizzard is doing this. And also, I just think cooking is good, Like, if it feels lazy, it'll feel lazy and we can shit on them for it. But, like, I feel like trying to cook 2 pieces is fine. And if they're just doing it because they just don't want to put in effort, that will be obvious in the way that they look. But, like, I think there's already such an issue with quality of tier bonuses, right? Like, think about, like, just making 39 unique 2 sets and 4 sets every patch. You guys know it's like every couple seasons you get a banger, and then, like, they're just not going to make 39 bangers every season. So maybe by standardizing the 2 pieces, it gives them more time to create actual good ones. And even if they interact with every class in a similar way, at least they're interesting. So it's a potential higher hit rate of something that's not bad, right? Because you have basically, if you are tasking one designer, I'm just making this up, to coming up with 13 tier 2 sets, they might have like 3 or 4 really good ideas. But if that's only going to be 1 tier set, maybe it's their best idea. And maybe it's better for those 13 specs to have a good 2-piece and have them be similar or the same and have their 4 pieces interact differently than someone getting an absolute fucking stinker, or half of them getting stinkers. I could see a world for sure, but we will tell by reading them if it's better or worse, and we probably won't know until playing with them, but certainly understand a pessimist view on it. I think generally consider myself an optimist. Yeah, it's definitely true in Blizzard. Well, I mean, it's weird. If you like have a balanced opinion on Blizzard, I feel like you're viewed as an optimist because the massive, like, overwhelming majority of people are like fucking hate the company of the game that they play all the time. and you're just a shill. But I think there's certainly, if you're trying to understand how they came to this conclusion, there's certainly other options besides let's just be lazy. It could also just mean higher quality across the board, right? Okay. So, for example, look at the current Ellie, Shaman, and Aug Evoker sets and range DPS keyword jackpot. So your damaging spells have a chance to hit a jackpot, causing an upheaval at 100% effectiveness that does not knock enemies up. Casting Breath of Eons always hits a jackpot. So on your 2 minutes, this will always happen, and then it'll randomly happen, okay? Let's forget their 4-piece for now and just read the Ellie one. Your spells and abilities have a chance to hit a jackpot. That summons a fire elemental for 8 seconds, causing Ascendance always hits a jackpot. Now, this just kind of sounds like a really fun spell that a lot of classes have had. So I love the talents that will like randomly proc your cooldowns, right? You can probably think of a million versions of this, but just like getting like random avatar procs or getting deeply rooted elements to proc has always just been something that's been satisfying to me. So I kind of fuck with it, but I want to see how they both interact and if they feel like way different. Because the 4-piece to these are always going to have to be based on when you get a jackpot, right? And it has to be interesting in some way, or you hope it's interesting. Let's see. Your upheavals have a 100% chance to grant Essence Burst, just in general. And then Eruptions cast with Essence Burst deal 25% increased damage. Okay. Tuning numbers can be moved around, but is that fun? I think the Essence Burst, I actually haven't played Aug in a while. I'm not sure how Essence Burst, like getting a ton of procs, or if that would feel like you're overwhelmed with procs potentially as well. Let's see. 2-set for Ellie. So same thing, except instead of casting Upheaval 100% effectiveness, it summons a Fire Ellie for 8 seconds. So even then, they're the same thing. They still operate kind of differently, right? Like getting an Upheaval to randomly happen versus getting 8 seconds of a fire elemental, and then there's synergies within your class kit for when fire elemental is up, already just naturally feels different. But what happens with the 4-piece? When you summon or extend your fire Ellie, your lightning bolt, chain lightning, and lava burst deal 10% increased damage for 8 seconds. Okay, so this doesn't seem awesome, I guess, because like 10% is such a small number that you're not going to change your casting priority when something like this happens, but it's just going to be like, it kind of like you as an Ellie shaman, like low key, you could like kind of ignore this. But let's see why they brought these two up. As you can see, the wording and the structure for each of the 2 sets within a role will be very similar, but the keyword jackpot rewards different benefits based on spec. This difference is expanded upon in each of the 4 pieces, which adds further unique twists for each spec. And the other keywords which can be seen below are luck of the draw for tanks, winning streak for melee, and insurance for healers. We'd also like to note that there are not currently any plans to change the acquisition of class sets in the War Within Season 2, as Season 1 players will receive a Catalyst charge when the season begins, and additional charges every other week. Just on this note, before we actually look at the sets, how did you guys feel about tier acquisition in this season? Like, obviously, we've had a long road since they brought them back in Sepulchre, and basically the acquisition for tier is like massively, massively better than it used to be. But I wonder if it's still good enough. Like, I feel like if you raid at any level, even a normal level, I think you are basically guaranteed 4-piece by week 3. Is it week 3? So like week 1 you get a catalyst charge, so you get 1 tier piece from anything you could loot from any content. You're not guaranteed because this is hard to do technically, but if you were to full clear heroic, get AOTC. If you were to get a certain mythic plus rating, or PvP rating, you also get your second piece of tier in week 1. And then in week 3, you get your second catalyst charge, which gives you 3-piece, which gives you 3 full lockouts of potentially normal or heroic. For some people, mythic. For very few people, mythic. But for most people, normal is very attainable. So like you get a normal loot roll, and you get 2 or 3 vaults, and you get 3 Omni tokens dropping on the last boss between your whole group to get 4-piece by week 3. You just need that to happen on 1 piece over 3 weeks with full vault loot rolls on any single tier. You just need to win 1 tier item. I think that sounds fair to me, breaking that down. But let's see what you guys said. W, I got lucky, so it was good. Better than it has been. Good, not too bad. W, fine, easy. It was easy. Got it week 1, really happy. It was fine. The season was great. Good. Okay, seems like mostly good. Playing with these bonuses and providing feedback. We consider the flow of testing, feedback, final design, and adjustments to be crucial to the success of addition to games like new class sets. As you test a new class set, please review the following guidelines. We're not going to read any of this, right? This is probably all very obvious. Okay, let's get some pogs or dogs for these set bonuses. So starting with DK, we already read this. So 2-set, you get Vamp Blood for 4 seconds randomly when you take damage. Your damage is increased by 15% for 8 seconds after Luck of the Draw activates, probably additive. And then your 4-set makes that 50% better.
and then your Death Strike cleaves to 3 enemies. And it costs less runic power. That number is so small that I wish it was buffed a little bit. The runic power seems low, but just general idea. Let's focus more on theme than power because you can tune the numbers around a lot. So you hold Death Strike, seems ass. That's not how this would interact with you now. Random proc defensives are ass. I've tanked a lot. I actually think random proc defensives are very fun. Because I think, me as a tank, this is me personally, I feel like going into a situation where you're doing a raid boss or a dungeon where you kind of know where you're popping every cooldown, and it's like you do a little rotation of them on a trash pack in dungeons, or like on a raid boss, you know where you're popping things. I think randomly procking shield walls and that covering where you would normally have to use something, and then now you're improvising, and it's like, oh, well, that part later that's really dangerous, I can just add this shield wall to that because I got this proc, and now I'm like ahead. And some pulls you don't get that, and you have to like make it work. That to me makes tanking infinitely more fun. But that's just me personally, right? My opinion, like having to improvise and giving the opportunity to improvise based on randomness is actually very fun. But I don't know. I would need to look at some other tank 2 pieces because like some of the tank 2 pieces have been so fucking strong. I'm thinking I kind of just like the idea of Death Strike hitting 3 targets. That just sounds like Blood DKs are going to be doing insane 3 target DPS. Unless, actually, let's see. Warcraft logs. Let's look at like how much of their single target Death Strike is right now. Maybe I'm like totally off. Nerebar Palace rankings, Blood DK on specifically Nexus Princess, top damage, this guy, in a guild called Copium. Perfect. This guy did 1 million he did 1 million DPS? What the fuck? Isn't that like a lot? That's a lot of damage, right? Holy shit. Okay. So yeah, I mean, guys, there is a world where a 4-piece makes this ability cleave 2 more targets at a decent uptime that gets really fun real fast. I don't know. I'm gonna throw the pog on the blood set. That sounds real nice. We're not saying it won't be good. It's just boring passive cleave. But guys, isn't being good and doing a lot of damage? Can we all admit that matters, and that's fun? Can we just like keep it a buck? That matters to me. I can be playing the most fun class ever, and if it's like Windwalker right now is super fucking fun, but like it just doesn't quite do the damage I'm trying to do, and that makes me not have as much fun. Hey, it's true. It's part of it, right? Oh, okay. Oh, I have my window open, and there's just a leaf blower outside. You can probably hear it. Sounds like a chainsaw, kind of. But it's actually just blowing leaves. All right, Frost DK. Your spells and ability have a chance to activate Winning Streak, increasing the damage of your Frost Strike and Glacial Advance by 2%, stacking up to 5 times. Your spells and abilities have a chance to activate Winning Streak, this is the melee one, increasing the damage of these 2 specific spells by 2%, so it'll be 10%. Your abilities have a chance to basically just make Frost Strike permanently do 10% more damage with uptime. And Obliterate is a 15% chance to remove this. Okay, I'm assuming the 4-piece will make this less bad, but that sounds terrible. Okay. Oh, I'm obliterating the thing that does all my damage. I hope it doesn't remove my buff. Okay, but make removing the buff sick, right? Winning Streak stacks 3 additional times. Okay, so now 16% extra damage on Frost Strike. While on a winning streak, your Frost Strike and Glacial Advance have a chance to cast Frost Scythe at 50% effectiveness. Frost Scythe now also benefits from Winning Streak. Okay, so Frost Scythe does 16% more damage. It'll cast this at 50% effectiveness. That sounds a little too RNG for me. Not a fan of that. I'm going to go with Dog. Unholy. Your spells and abilities have a chance to activate this, increasing damage of your Death Coil and Epidemic by 3%. Those buttons seem way better for that. Just because you have so many more talents that work with Death Coil, right? Stack them 10 times. Death Coil and Epidemic have a 50% chance to remove this. Casting Dark Transform grants up to 10 stacks of this. So 30%. But every time you cast Death Coil and Epidemic has a chance to remove it. And while Dark Transformation is active, the effectiveness of Winning Streak is increased by 100% and no longer has a chance to reset. Oh, holy fuck. Okay, that turns your... Bro, you're gonna pop the fuck off in Dark Transformation. That's crazy. Okay, that's Pog. I like that a lot better. See, now this is interesting, right? This is a perfect example of them creating basically the same 2-piece for 2 different specs, and it's awful on one of them and great on the other. Like, even if you remove the 4-piece for Unholy is 10 times better than the 4-piece for Frost, but like even just the 2-piece,
just by picking the two abilities. Frost Strike and Glacial Advance are just simply not equal to Death Coil and Epidemic. Straight up. It's impossible. Not true. Right? And they've made the same spells that are buffed give you the chance to remove it, where they have a completely different spell that, by the way, does the most damage of any spell in your kit that you spam all the time is Frost. So, right, so like even though they have the same two-piece, they're not the same at all. It's the same vibe, but they're able to cook on it in different ways, which I think is more of an argument to doing this. Because it's less boring than it appears by just reading the initial statement of why they're doing it. I don't really like the idea of like resetting things, but I understand it gives some variance, but like it's not a kind of variance where like when you get it to proc it feels good. You just kind of only feel bad because it keeps resetting it. Like for example, a high roll amount of damage in 1 minute for Unholy. Actually, you're going to have 2 Dark Transforms during it, so like it's not going to be that crazy, but like I don't know. You could just get 0 resets in between your first Dark Transform and your second one with Lust, and like that matters. That's 30% damage. That's crazy, right? And it's, keep in mind, coming out of Dark Transform, you're going to be at max stacks, so you're like getting a reset right away is the difference between having like potentially 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 Death Coils that do 30% more damage. That's a lot of damn. But also, this looks like you're going to be doing so much damage in your cooldowns that like maybe you don't really care that much outside of your cooldowns. I mean, Unholy has become less like that, and that used to be their entire identity. Okay, I got to keep going. I'm like getting stuck on early shit. Your spells and abilities have a chance to activate a winning streak, increasing the damage of your Blade Dance and Chaos Strike by 1%, stack up to 10 times. So just like the Unholy one, exact same as Unholy. All right, cool. So what do you get for your 4-piece though? Winning streak persists for 7 seconds after being removed. Entering demon form sacrifices your winning streak to gain 1% crit per stack consumed. Lasts 15 seconds. So you can just get 10% crit going into your... Yeah, but what happens if like it's correct to press Blade Dance or Chaos Strike before your I-Beam comes up and you do... and then it fucking gets rid of your shit? Oh, well, I mean, never mind. I'm stupid. It persists. That's why. Okay. I initially hated it because I read this and totally forgot about it like an idiot. This is not Pog or Dog. It just, like, exists. Because you do good damage in your demon form, so, like, holding... I think that this part is good. I don't know. It's okay. It's not Pog or Dog. It's something in the middle. I don't even know what that would be, but... Vengeance. Every time you take damage, okay, tank 1, you get meta for 4 seconds. Set bonus, the Hunt has a high chance to refresh its cooldown when you gain Luck of the Draw. Okay, is the Hunt good for Vengeance right now? Or is Hunt bad? Because Hunt, last time I played Havoc, Hunt was amazing, but I haven't played Vengeance. But like, not really? I mean, bro, getting like, I feel like getting Hunt resets feels fucking incredible. It's only good for Aldrachi Reaver. All right, we'll just play that shit then, dog. That sounds sick. I like that. Pog for me. Get mad. Balance. Your spells have a chance to do this. They will grow a wild... oh, this is the ranged one. It'll grow a wild mushroom at a nearby enemy's location at 100% effectiveness, and then casting this always hits a jackpot. Okay, I have no idea how good wild mushrooms are, but this sounds horrible. Let's see. Starfall and Star Surge damage against targets affected by your wild mushrooms damage over time effect is increased by 20%. I am completely unfamiliar with wild mushrooms currently, so I'm not sure. Sounds like it'd be good AoE though, right? Depends on the proc rate. Feral, your spells and abilities have a chance to get winning streak. Same thing. Ferocious Bite, Rip, and Primal Wrath by 1. Stack them 10 times. Ferocious Bite, Rip, Primal Wrath have a 50% chance to remove it. When you consume Apex Predator's Craving, what does that mean? Don't tell me, by the way. Become a big winner, dealing physical damage to Apex Predator's primary target, and increasing the damage of your periodic effect by 4% for 6 seconds. Sounds very boring and something you wouldn't pay attention to, especially compared to the other ones. But you do get to become a big winner. That's Pog. Guardian. Obviously the Survival Instincts one. After you gain Luck of the Draw, your next 10 Druid abilities cast another Druid ability at 125% effectiveness. That's sick! I fuck with that. That sounds awesome. Let's fucking go. Love the theme. I don't know about the power level, but like, it's like, dude, that seems sick. Okay, Resto. Oh, this is the healer one. Your healing abilities have a chance to apply insurance to their targets that heals them for 15 seconds. Insurance is consumed if an ally drops below 40% health to heal them. Okay, I like that. That's gonna make if all healers have this, that's gonna create such an interesting raid healing dynamic. Because like, if you just don't go below 40% health a lot, like think about it. Like every time you're used to health frames doing like you're used to looking at them and it makes sense. But just imagine every 20 seconds when someone hits 40%, they just like get a health stone. Which is crazy. Which could put value on underhealing and like letting that proc more often to make value of it. Or it could, depending if it could just stack forever, it would just be valuable to actually keep them above 40% for so long. So when they actually do, and it matters, which means you're kind of losing control of your raid's health, that it'll actually pop and be a way bigger heal. Who knows? In general, very interested in that. And I'm really interested in all 4 or 5 raid healers having the same one and what your raid frames will look like with that, because that could just be so good. Life Bloom's Bloom has a 30% chance to apply insurance target for 10 seconds. When insurance is consumed or removed, it leaves a missing rejuve, regrowth, or wild growth heal over time effect on the target for 15 seconds on its target. So I'm assuming it has like a priority order here, and if they have like 0, it will give them rejuve, and if it has rejuve, it'll give them regrowth, and if they have regrowth, it'll give them wild growth. It won't give them all 3. That sounds, in raid, that sounds really good. In dungeons, that sounds really good, doesn't it? Like, if you're just healing your dungeon group and they fall below 40% and just guaranteed all of them are going to at least get a rejuve, that's good for planning for that to happen. That's good as something that didn't plan to happen as a way to recover from it. Purely healer based, like just doing healing. Obviously, this does 0 damage in their tier, but like that sounds so good. Okay. But also, I don't know how healing works, so maybe a healer's like, Max, you're so stupid. That's actually so bad, and you're probably right. That's okay. We already read the Aug one. Dev here. Your damaging spells have a chance to hit a jackpot, launching a shattering star at 3 nearby enemies at 50% effectiveness. Can someone remind me what the fuck that means? What is a shattering star? Is that the, like, thing you used to cast in your rotation that, like, buffed your next finisher against them or something? The damage amp? The instant blue? Yeah, okay. And then casting Shattering Star or hitting a jackpot increases the damage of your next Empower spell by 20%, stacking up to 2 times. That sounds good. That sounds great. I like that a lot. Cool. Preservation, same thing. Verdant Embrace always grants insurance to you and your target for 6 seconds, and its cooldown is reduced by 4 seconds. I don't know enough about Preservation, but I think it's possible that Preservation is bad next patch just because they were actually so good in the previous one at the beginning. I have nothing to go off for that. Sounds good. Okay, Hunter, Beastmaster. Your damaging spells have a chance to hit jackpot, fires a barbed shot at 200% effectiveness, casting Bestial Wrath always to jackpot. Forset, hitting a jackpot infuses your pet with a mutagen, causing its auto attacks to your nature damage to its target and up to 5 enemies within 10 yards for 10 seconds. Mutagenic attacks reduce the cooldown. This just sounds like a fucking banger. That's good. That's sick, right? I mean, totally depends on the damage, but that's like just a tuning. That just sounds, the basis for that is just sick. Okay, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, man. We've only read like 10 of these, and yeah, they're all using, in quotes, the same 2-piece, but I've read many lists of tier set bonuses in my life, and there has been some not good ones here, but the average quality seems certainly higher by mixing together some simple themes together. So my initial theory, hopefully it continues, but my initial theory of them making higher quality tier sets by reducing the total amount of new things they need to make seems not awful so far. Some have been bad, and if you are one of the specs that got a bad one and you're like, no, you're wrong, Max, because mine was bad, I get it, but like looking at all of them, it kind of seems pretty good right now. Your damaging spells have a chance to hit a yeah, and also for whatever it's worth, I think jackpot, insurance, and luck of the draw just seems so much better than winning streak. Winning streak just looks like it kind of stinks in comparison. There's been some good winning streak ones, but I just think they're cooking with less gas, you know, on that one. Your damaging spells have a chance to fire a jackpot that increases your auto shot damage by 600% and reduces the time between auto shots by 2 seconds for 10 seconds. That is a big number. Wait, you're gonna fucking right? What is the cooldown between your auto shots right now? It can't be much more than 2 seconds, right? Are you gonna actually fucking gat the boss down? Bro, your top damage is gonna be auto shot on single target, right? And wait, auto attacks also proc things? Boys. Consuming lock and load also fires an explosive shot at 200% effectiveness. I don't know if that's good or not. But actually, didn't they make explosive shot like a 45-second cooldown? Does a lot of damage? Might be. Okay, hunters are doing good. Survival. Your spells and abilities have a chance to activate a winning streak, increasing the damage of your wildfire bomb by 3%, stacking up to 6 times. Wildfire bomb has a 50% chance to remove it. When your winning streak ends, your next kill command deals 200% additional damage and generates 3 stacks of Tip of the Spear. I don't know what Tip of the Spear is, but I think if they're going to make these 4 sets better, it just feels bad by default that the thing that you want to have buffed and is really good is getting a reset. They need to make these 4 pieces say, when this reset happens, which, you know, by default should suck, you need to get something fucking amazing. And I don't know if this is fucking amazing, But whatever tuning knob needs to be there in all of these 4 pieces, it needs to say, hey, when that 2 set cancels itself, which stinks, you get fucking crazy bonus that doesn't stink, and it feels fine because of that. I don't know. Also, no one plays survival, so who fucking cares? But, you know, something like that would make sense. Okay. Arcane. Your damaging spells have a small chance at a jackpot, granting you clear casting and 8% increased spell damage for 12 seconds. Casting Touch of the Magi always hits a jackpot. Woo! Okay. When you hit a jackpot, you also gain Aether Attunement at 100% effectiveness. I don't know what almost any of the words that were just said. I don't know what they mean. I'm just going to move on and ignore that Arcane exists. Fire. Your damaging spells have a chance at a jackpot, reducing the cooldown of Combustion by 3 seconds. Casting Combustion always hits a jackpot at 200% effectiveness. Okay. So you get 6 seconds off of Combust by casting Combustion. That just totally depends on proc rate. And whenever you get a reduction on Combustion, your damage increased by 15% for 7 seconds. If you would gain Jackpot from Combustion, the duration is increased by 100%. So whenever you combust, you get 15% damage for 14 seconds. And when you randomly get reductions on Combustion, you get a damage increase. Very basic, but we bust. Frost. Your damaging spells have a chance that fires a Frostbolt volley, dealing damage to your primary target and damage up to 8 additional targets. Casting Icy Veins will always do this. Icy Veins causes you to cast a Frostbolt volley, dealing damage to your primary target up to 8 additional targets at 100% effectiveness every 10 seconds for 30 seconds. Very interesting. So that, I find it very hard to believe that this is something that can be tuned well in single target and an AoE. It's either going to be good in single target, in which this will be the most broken AoE tier set ever, or it's going to be really good in dungeons and Frost will be bad in raid, or bad on single target raid bosses, which are actually surprisingly very rare. So maybe that won't matter as much, but okay. By the way, guys, these are good. It's really hard to gauge this, especially because I think so many people look at they just think about their spec, and I totally get that. You just care about your own spec, and that totally makes sense. But for someone who doesn't really care about any spec and is their job to kind of understand all of them, these are like 30 to 50% more interesting and sound like they have something good going for them than any time I've read tier bonuses. If my initial impression of them doing the similar 2-piece thing is that this is really good, in my opinion. Okay, Brewmaster. Fortifying Brew. This one, interestingly, for 6 seconds. Okay. Your damage done is increased, same thing. When you gain this, so every time you take damage, or sometimes, your next 2 casts of Blackout Kick deal 150% increased damage and incur a 2-second reduced cooldown. I don't know anything about what Blackout Kick does. Ignoring. Mistweaver. Your healing spells have a chance to apply insurance to targets that heal them for 15 seconds. It's consumed. Casting Renewing Mist applies it. The healing of insurance is increased by up to 50% in proportion to the coverage Renewing Mist has on you and 10 allies. Bro, what the fuck are you? So if you have a ton of Renewing Mists out, it will heal up to 50% more, or if you are light on Renewing Mists, it will heal a lot more to make up for the fact that you don't. Bro, fuck healing. All right, Windwalker. Your spells and abilities have a chance to activate Winning Streak, increasing the damage of your Rising Sun Kick and Spinning Crane Kick. It'll remove it, chance to do that up to 10 times. Okay, 30%. Big fucking number, by the way, with chance of Chi-Ji. Big, massive 30% fucking crazy number. Okay. Fist of Fury applies 1 stack of Winning Streak when cast and when finished channeling completely. Your damage of your next Fist of Fury is increased by 5% per stack when Winning Streak is removed. Your Winning Streak is always removed once it reaches max stacks. This stinks. Whole thing. Don't like it. Paladin. Maybe you could move some numbers around, but I don't like that. The variance of rolling a Winning Streak near and sitting near the I mean, at least it's deterministic. You can't just sit at 10 stacks. It's determined to not do that. It has something built in to make it not RNG bullshit. But I just feel like the Fist of Fury by 5% when it those numbers aren't right. Okay, Paladin. Your healing spells have a chance to apply insurance. Cool. Divine Toll applies it to allies that heals for 8 seconds. Divine Toll's cooldown is reduced by 1 second every time you spend Holy Power. Oh. I don't play Holy Paladin, but I know Divine Toll button good, and pressing Divine Toll more good. But how often could you even spend Holy Power? I'm not sure if that's how much do you spend a minute, right?
Divine Toll does 0 healing. Oh, never mind. Fuck everything then. Guardian Ancient Kings for 4 seconds. While you have Luck of the Draw, Shield of the Righteous refunds 1 to 3 Holy Power and extends the duration of Luck of the Banger. Right? Just straight up banger. I haven't played Prop Pal in a while, but that sounds fucking sick. right? Like, if you just like spend at, yeah, that's good. That sounds fucking sick. You can randomly, if you got enough resets, you could get, realistically, probably like 10 seconds of Guardian the Ancient Kings total, which is sick. You're going to machine gun shields too. But the 2-piece is random, which sounds bad. Yeah, but okay. Me personally, tanked for a very long time. I think random defensive procs when you're tanking are very interesting. I hate doing the same thing every time. Boring as fuck. Can do it over and over again. And like the feeling of getting a good proc at the right time is like, fuck. You just love that shit. All right, Rhett. 2 set. Your spells and abilities have a chance to activate winning streak, increasing the damage of your Templar's Verdict and Divine Storm by 2% second up to 10 times. That's a lot of damage. Templar's Verdict and Divine Storm have a 12% chance to remove it. When you lose your winning streak, okay, it needs to say something fucking crazy happens. You get the last holy power spent back, and for 4 seconds, you cannot lose holy power, and the damage of your holy power abilities are increased by 10%. Okay, so that's the best winning streak one by far so far, right? That's fucking insane. That's what I'm talking about, though. Like, if your winning streak 4 pieces have to say something like this, because this sucks, And they did it. Okay, so every winning streak bonus, use the Rhett Paladin bonus as an example. That's fucking crazy strong. Okay. Okay. Priest, Discipline. Yeah. Your Powered Shield is completely absorbed. They're granted insurance. Your allies with your insurance or absorption effects. Your allies with your insurance or absorption effects in general receive 15% increased healing from you. That sounds really good, I think. I guess it just depends on how widespread you can get it. But if you can blanket the raid and get a decent amount of that, it's pretty strong. Maybe it's overhealing. Because if they have an absorption effect or insurance, maybe they have atonement, and then are they really in danger? That's not exactly how healing works, but Holy Word, Serenity, and Sanctify apply insurance for 10 seconds to one target while Apotheos is active. Your healing is increased by 1% for each insurance active on allies. Seems kind of basic, but could be strong based on the coverage. Shadow. Your damaging spells and abilities have a chance to fire a Void Bolt at an enemy at 200% effectiveness. Casting Dark Ascension or Void Eruption always hits a jackpot. And then hitting a jackpot grants you 5 seconds of PI. Mind Blast and Void Bolt deal 15% increased damage while Power Infusion is active. Seems pretty good. Definitely not like a super banger, I don't think. Like as far as gameplay, but maybe it's really strong. I think it's okay. Rogue. Increasing the damage of Envenom, Rupture, and Crimson Tempest by 3%, stacking up to 10 times all your finishers. And Envenom, Rupture, and Crimson Tempest have a 50% chance to remove it. All right, here's the big winning streak test. When you lose winning streak, aka when you feel like shit, you have a chance to instead gain max stacks of winning streak for 4 seconds, which is 30% damage on your finishers. I wonder if that's snapshots, by the way, for Crimson Tempest and Rupture. Probably not. Is there any snapshotting built into? There's no way, right? There's no way it snapshots. It would be dynamic. Okay. Wait, you have a chance to instead gain max stacks when you lose it. These cannot be removed, so it's going to last for how long? These cannot be removed and have 30% additional effect while immune to removal. So you'll be doing 40% increased damage. Oh, for 4 seconds, I see. But how many things are you gonna? You're only gonna be able to get 1 or 2 off, right? But at least it'll be it depends on your energy. Is it 60%? We don't know if it's modifying the 30% total things by 30% of the number, or if it's literally giving you an additive 30%. It could be 60. 100% need a weak aura for that? Yeah, actually true. They could just make it obvious on your UI. They've done that before, but weak aura would solve it for sure. I think this is okay because you don't really want this to happen a lot, but when it does, you could just hit an Envenom for like so much damn. It is going to happen a lot. This is true, right? 15% of the time, except for the very first one you cast with no winning streak stacks, you are going to get 4 seconds of potentially 60% more damage on finishers. That's a decent amount of time, right? But also, oh wait, it's not every time. You have a chance to instead gain max stacks of it for 4 seconds. So do you not actually lose it? When you would lose winning streak, okay, so here's how I think it works. Is a 50% chance to remove it, but there's a chance that when you would lose it, even if you only have 1 stack, it's actually going to take you to 10 for 4 seconds, but I don't think you lose it after 4 seconds. I think it's going to sit at 10, and then you can start losing it again. So you actually, like on your second finisher of the fight, you could go from 1 to 10 in your opener, and then just roll a 30% for your entire opener. So you actually want to remove it as soon as possible. Okay, that's way better.
It's still very RNG, like super RNG, but definitely really powerful. Like potentially insanely powerful. Like this will just be the kind of bonus where like your opener could just realistically, like in some true casino style, your opener could actually just be like double damage. Like just like opener, you put up your opening rupture, and then your first envenom procs this, and then you are going to the fucking moon. Max, imagine it works when you click off the buff. I mean, obviously that would work. Yeah. Okay, so outlaw dispatch does 30% more damage, stacking, and then 50% chance to remove. Roll the bones to a 12% increased chance of granting additional combat enhancements, and also applies 1 stack of winning streak for each combat. And also applies 1 stack of winning streak for each combat enhancement granted. Stacks applied by roll the bones can exceed the normal winning streak maximum of 5. That's a different take on it. I kind of like that. 4 seconds are nothing. You're misunderstanding how it works. So I misread it at first. I misread it as when you would lose winning streak, you instead gain max stacks of winning streak for 4 seconds and then it goes away. I think you can't have it removed for the 4 seconds, but then you would sit at max stacks. I don't think you're going to lose it after that. If you do, I mean, maybe you do. We're all guessing here. But if you do, I think it's bad. And if you don't, I think it's insane. I would lean towards it doesn't. Subtlety. Your spells and abilities have a chance to activate winning streak, increase the damage of all of your finishers by this. Same thing as assassination. While Shadow Dance is active, you cannot lose it. Gain an additional stack of winning streak each time you would gain one, and deal an additional 6% of shadow damage per winning streak stack. Oh boy, your Shadow Dance is going to pop the fuck off. Right? Your Shadow Dance by default means you're going to have 30% increased damage on your finishers. If you aren't at max stacks, you're going to gain them insanely fast in Shadow Dance. And then also you're going to deal an additional 6% shadow damage per winning streak stack. So you're going to be doing 30% more damage on your finishers and 60% more shadow damage. That's fucking insane, right? That is crazy, crazy damn. Okay, we already read Ellie. Enhance, another winning streak one. When you cast Storm Strike, Crash Lightning, and Lava Lash, stack them 5 times, spinning Maelstrom Weapon has a 15% chance to remove winning streak. Okay. When you gain a stack of winning streak, reduce the cooldown of Doom Winds by 2 seconds. Boo, Doom Winds boring. When winning streak is removed, reduce the cooldown of Doom Winds by 10 seconds. Boo. Boo enhance. Boo. Resto Shaman. Insurance 2-piece. When you cast Healing Rain, one ally in the radius has insurance applied to them. Your next chain healing surge, or healing waves increased by 10%. W. Warlock. Affliction. 2-set bonus. Jackpot, increasing your haste by 12% for 12 seconds. Summoning a Dark Claire will always do this. Hitting a jackpot increases the damage of UA by 50 and causes unstable affliction to spread to 3 targets within 40 yards for 12 seconds. Oh, on single target that feel V bad, but in cleave that's fucking insane, right? That's fucking like real insane. That is a lot. Okay, same problem as Frostmage though. Demo, the Warlock spec for idiots. Your damaging specs have a chance to hit a jackpot. I just completely made that up, by the way, but if you're a demo player and you just got mad at that, stay small. Summons a Dreadstalker at 165% effectiveness. Casting Hand of Gul'dan causes your active Dreadstalkers to cast Dreadbite at 50% effectiveness. This damage is increased by 10% for each soul shard spent on hand of... What do these words mean? Destruction. Your damaging spells have a chance to hit a jackpot that fires a flurry of 12 demon fire bolts at 200% effectiveness. Summoning an infernal always hits a jackpot. When this happens, it increases your mastery by 3%, and your spells gain max benefit from mastery for 10 seconds. I don't understand Warlocks at all. Moving on. Last couple sets here. Arms. Your spells and abilities have a chance to activate winning streak, increase the damage of Mortal Strike and Cleave by 2. Increasing the damage of your Mortal Strike and Cleave by 2%, stacking up to 10 times. Overpower has a 15% chance to remove it. All right, just don't press that then. But you will if the 4-piece wants you to. When your winning streak ends, so 15% of the time you press Overpower, Overpower deals 20% additional damage and recharges 75% faster for 2 seconds per stack of winning streak you had. W. I don't know. I don't know what... Fuck yeah. Fury. Increasing the damage of your Rampage by 2%, stack them to 10 times, and Rampage resets it. So 20% when you're at max stats for Rampage damage. When you gain a stack of winning streak, you have an even chance to either cause your next Bloodthirst to deal 15% increased damage and have 25% increased chance to critically strike, or your next Raging Blow to deal 15% increased damage and generate 2 additional rage. I mean, so you're going to get like procs of things on the way up, and you're like kind of stacking damage. If it makes your spells light up, I don't actually know how Fury plays right now, but if it doesn't change the way you press buttons, it's probably just super boring, right? And you don't get anything when it ends. But I mean, they don't have to give you something when it ends if you are always gaining something when you gain it, right? I mean, I guess if you want it to be really good, maybe it does. Prot Warrior. Last one. When you take damage and you each have a chance to activate Luck of the Draw, causing you to cast Shield over 4 seconds. Same thing as all the other tanks. During this, Shield Slam's chance to critically strike is increased by 50%, and its critical strikes reduce the cooldown of Shield Charge by 6 seconds. I'm not familiar with Shield Charge at all, but like, that doesn't sound great unless Shield Charge is real good. And this procs a lot. Like, compare this to like, bro, Shield Charge is great, bro. Compare this to like Prop Paladin. When Prop Paladin gets their shit to proc, their Holy Power spender refunds Holy Power and then also is increasing the duration of the shield wall they were just granted. Like, that just windmill dunks on this, right? Okay. Like the tier bonuses. While we're talking about tier, shall we pog or dog the tier set models, everybody? All right, let's go. Starting with DK. I mean, super generic, right? You guys are saying pog? Do you guys really just want every DK set to just look like, I guess maybe you do, just like a cool DK set on some jailer shit? And it has like a few pieces that you could mix, like the shoulders could clearly go with other stuff. The gloves could go with other stuff. The belt could go with other stuff. Look at the recolors. Ooh, okay. I see the vision. All right, we're going with pog. Oh, we're on a different one now. All right, on to Demon Hunter. Dog. The only thing is you could use the shoulders. The shoulders are definitely usable in other stuff, but I think dog across the board for DH. All right, on to the next one, which is Druid. Leaning pog, because the shoulders and the helm have potential. Huge potential. Colorways are nice. Okay. Evoker. I mean, Evokers are just like in dragon form anyway, but I mean, they're giving you a few pieces here you can move around with some other stuff. Who fucking cares? Doesn't even matter. On to the next one. Oh, they're showing it in dragon form. Sick. All right, Hunter. Okay, the shoulders have potential, and they're going for like if they're going for like the Dark Ranger vibe, like you can kind of see like the purple skulls on the eyes. What other colorways do we have here? Wait, what is this one? So these all look normal, and then what the fuck is this? Why does this one? Okay, I don't know. Dog. Mage. What the fuck is going on here? Wait, do I like this? Wait, I kind of like this. This is sick. It's very different, but like how many like standard ass mage mogs do we have? I kind of fuck with this. I kind of like this. Bro, you could do so much with a couple of these pieces too. They're like so unique. Yeah, you got the Dragon Ball Z hair, bro. You got the Sonic shit going on. Yo, this is sick. This one's sick, and it's different. I actually like applaud them for that. That's good. Monk. What the fuck is going on here? Wait, does it come with the tattoos? Do the is this the chest mog? It's just the tats? Bro, what in the Dragon Ball Z are these sets? This dude's Super Saiyan right now. Look at this. Look at the fucking hair. All right, what are the other colors? Oh, that one looks like shit. Okay. And this one. Okay, the last one and the first one look really sick. Okay, if you could have the hair without the fucking mask, maybe. I don't know. I'm going with Pog, though. I like it. Paladin. Okay, the shoulders have motion. Ooh. I think overall this is mid, but the first and the last shoulders you could make an entire transmog set with. Look at the fucking colorway of the like lion. Yeah, that's sick. You could make something work with that for sure. All right, on to the next one. What is this? Okay, that's not good. I mean, if there's anything cool going on here, it's like the little braided threads going around the like front and back. It's like kind of cool. Red colorway doesn't do it as well. Oh, this is just bad. I don't like that. Rogue. Oh shit. Little pirate fucking, what is going on here? Okay, the helm, you could do crazy shit with the helm and the shoulders. They went super basic, like trench coat, looking like a pirate looking ass. Oh shit. Okay, the rogue's like the best one, I think. Holy fuck, this is crazy. Bro, look at these shoulders. Wow, that's sick. That is so sick. All right, Shaman. They always go super bright elemental look for Shamans, which I guess makes sense. I feel like the helm's actually pretty cool. Shoulders are pretty cool. I don't like the colorways, actually. I feel like there was a better colorway for this, but I like the design. But I don't like any of the colorways, actually. That's kind of unfortunate. Warlock. Okay. I like this shit. Super interesting design on like this is the gown. Obviously the shoulders are the huge standouts here. It seems like there's a lot of graphical shit going on here that you don't see in a still image, including in the face. Do you see how like there's stuff coming off of the head? I think that's like, you're looking like you're mad. I think the Warlock ones look cool. Any better colorways? Ooh, that's clean. They went with green fire on all of them except for the red one, which is just like red across the board. That's kind of cool. It's a sideways face that opens. W. Warrior. Okay. Kind of mid, right? I kind of like it though. Like this color specifically is really cool. The red and that like really bright green. I like that. I don't like this one though. All right, is that all? All right, overall, okay. Interesting that they didn't go with any like goblin-y kind of looks, given the rest of, or any casino-y kind of looks like the rest of the patch. All right, so top performers are definitely Rogue. Rogue goes absolutely stupid. A couple of the Monk ones go stupid. Mage goes stupid. I liked the Druid one, but I think it just got outclassed by later ones. I think they all got outclassed by the later one. It's like Monk, Mage, and that other one at the end. I think Warlock maybe too. Okay. All right, so we've looked at all the tier set stuff. We've looked at the Dinars return. Yo! Augmentation Evoker can no longer buff tanks and healers in patch. What the fuck is getting announced today? Why is today randomly just the day? What the fuck is happening right now? Holy shit. Bro, we're doing emergent. Guys, I'm telling you right now, there will be a potty emergency this week. There has to be. Dude, Blizzard just got mad that the Potty C was going to take a week off, and they were like, all right, let's just release everything then. Okay. I'm so overwhelmed. Let's do Dinars. We've data mined a raid renown track that will grant a stacking raid buff, augment runes, and eventually a dinar-like currency to purchase the exact item you want. Oh, Mythic Plusers are mad. Because based on the raid, right? Okay, so basically there's always been things that have been in raid, like the raid skip you get after a few weeks. You get like a stacking damage buff after a few weeks. And now they're just putting that all into a renown track. But it doesn't matter what difficulty you do to progress the renown track. I bet it's just doing the raid at all. So it'd be easy to do on normal. But yeah, let's see. It's unclear how you will get reputation with the Galagio loyalty rewards. But since the track contains the current raid buff, it's likely to be similar to the current season killing bosses. Yeah, we've also data mined a new upgrade track that could be the Dinar upgrade track, as it has 14 upgrade ranks and will cap at Mythic 6 out of 6. Okay, where do we look? Wait, where does it say you get the Dinars? 17 and 19. Receive a puzzling cartel chip, allowing you to trade for a powerful Liberation of Undermined item of your choice. Okay, so interesting. It's for Dinars, but specifically only for raid pieces. Is that correct? I think it's possible we don't know the full story here because this was data mined. This wasn't like an official release of information. It's possible that there are other ways to get specific. It sounds like patch wording in general. I mean, Liberation of Undermine is the name of the raid. Dinar was always raid pieces. Dinar was always raid pieces, but it was because there was 3 raids in a patch that it was relevant, and they weren't all available all the time. I think Dinars implemented into a normal season, in my opinion, 100% has to include the Mythic Plus loot pool. It has to. Because one of the biggest issues in the game is a lot of people's best in slot gears from Mythic Plus, and it is actually completely random whether you will ever obtain it, and that's stupid. The fact that you'll be able to be given it for this is really, really good. Like from the raid, that's good. Like, for example, can you imagine how many like Mythic Plusers would be so happy right now if they could get a fucking Mythic... I mean, right now it would be a Mythic Spy Masters, but like there's a Mythic trinket like every patch that is like, you need this thing, right? So still really, really good, but anyways, cool. And 19. So you get 2 Dinars. Guys, they put Dinars in an upgrade patch, or in like a regular patch, a non-faded patch. We fucking did it. We've been asking for this for like 3 years. This is a huge W. This is great. Very happy. Nice. Now, keep in mind, it does seem like it's going to be a long time into the season, but I also think that it depends on how long is long, but I think that's fine. Like, if Dinars ever serve a purpose in the patch, it is absolutely later rather than early. Like, let's see, like, when do you get, like, the stacking raid buffs? So you get your first one at 17. Let's just do it in this patch, right? So how long did it take to get the 5th raid buff? Do we have raid buff 5 right now?
What raid buff do we have now? Is it like 5 or 6? That's right now. So you would get potentially, again, we don't know this, but you'd potentially get access to your first dinar like around now. I would definitely classify that as too late. But this is all data mined, not officially announced. It's possible that this changes a million times before it comes out. But I think Blizzard should consider giving players a dinar maybe around like a month in, and then your second one, I don't know, a little bit of time after that. But I don't think 3 months into the patch is quite okay. I think that would be a little too late. Okay, what is it? It's probably meant only as bad luck protection, not intended as a primary method of getting the item week 1. That absolutely, that is understood. But I think 3 months is too long. We also don't know how you get reps, so better guilds might progress faster than others. I highly doubt that. I would be willing to bet that how you gain this raid renown is very standardized and easy. It is probably based on just killing bosses. Like, if there's 8 bosses in the raid, the max amount you can get is by killing 8 unique raid bosses in a week on any difficulty. I don't think the last thing they would want to do is tie a raid like damage increase to something that can't be consistently earned weekly. In fact, not only do I think doing it on harder difficulties won't get you ahead, I bet there will be bad luck protection built in. Not bad luck protection, but like a catch-up mechanic built in that like you are able to like go and kill extra bosses to like get the damage. Like, I think it is very important to them that everyone gets the damage buff the same week. That's how it is now. I don't think they would ever fuck with that. There's no shot. Yeah. Like, why would you even give the raid? Like, if you think about it, progressing faster by doing Mythic gives the raid buff earlier to people who it's not designed for. The raid buff, the like getting buffed in the raid is for people who are still progressing, not the people who are done. It defies logic to design it that way. We won't know until they officially announce it, but I mean, that just doesn't even make sense. Okay, Augmentation Evoker can no longer buff tanks and healers in patch 11.1. Holy moly. So we've been talking about it for a long time. Aug Evokers in raid have always been super broken because they're buffing 4 DPS. In dungeons it's 2, and the way they made up for that was they buffed tanks and healers, but that created this weird problem where Aug felt required in high keys, especially, not like lower keys, but since Aug has been out, it's been meta in high keys. And it hasn't always been the best damage, but it's just the only one that makes your tanks and healers feel strong enough to consistently do the content. Used to be because they had so much utility and like defensiveness. They nerfed a lot of that. Still have all the utility, but so do the other Evoker specs, most of it. It's more just because tanks and healers are too strong. And that is kind of what needed to be nerfed, and it seems like they did. So let's see what they did. So closest clutch mates. Ebonmite and Breath of Eons are 25% more effective when not in a raid. Oh, okay. So what they're doing, I see. So they are making it not affect tanks and healers, which will significantly nerf Aug. But to make up for that, and this is definitely good, because if they just did this, Aug would be horrible. Like, so bad. Unplayably bad if it just buffed 2 DPS and then didn't buff your tanks and healers whatsoever. But now they're going to make it so at least they'll be doing way more damage. They're gonna in a dungeon environment, they're gonna be their Ebonmites on the 2 DPS are still going to be like stronger, which is good because like if you look at it, right, putting an Ebonmite on 2 DPS is giving you 200% of the value of an Ebonmite, and 25% more is what, right? You're getting 250%, but the value of a raid Ebonmite is 400%. So like it's still gonna be just bad, right? But if you ever run no healer and you're buffing Aug plus 3 DPS, you're getting, I mean, it's still not as good as raid, but it probably would be better than any other DPS. Just thinking about it right now. I mean, this is gonna make their damage value like pretty close to what it is now, I think. But it's, I mean, I think anyone knows who is running Aug in high keys. A tank and a healer will tell you real quick how different it feels to do those keys with or without an Aug. And that's why they're required. It's because of this sentence. And now it's gone. Cool. And this doesn't really affect raid at all because it already preferred damage dealers. The only way that an Aug Evoker could buff a tank or a healer in a raid environment is by proximity. I mean, or you would have given them prescience, which is insane. But it would be by proximity, but only after every single DPS in your raid not only has 1, but 2 Ebonmites, which I think is only doable with like over 4 Aug Evokers. So like, it's just kind of not a thing. And tanks and raid, it won't make a difference. All right. So Blizzard is just absolutely spitting out W's. And before it's like lost in translation, by the way, my official statement, as if this matters, but like, I think a lot of the community sentiment I've seen around the tier sets has been like, this is lazy.
I think the tier sets being standardized, at least within the 2-piece, is a good thing. I think they're cooking. I think they're cooking. It looks better than like normal tier bonuses, like higher quality on average. We'll have to see how it plays out, but I like they look significantly better on average than normal ones. And I bet if you're cutting out having to come up with so many original ideas every 6 months and coming up with one good standard one, if you can get over the fact that other people's 2-pieces are similar to yours, even though you interact with it totally in a totally different way with your 4-piece, you're going to have less bad ideas. Like, think about seasonal affixes, right? Like, seasonal affixes were great when they were good ideas and bad when they were bad ideas. They have to create a new seasonal affix every 6 months. They don't always hit. Well, you know, if you didn't have to create, 10 seasonal affixes in total like they did, and they only had to pick their best one, and everyone had to deal with some version of encrypted, it would just be better, even though it would be similar. Because that one owned, or enshrouded, or awakened, or whatever, right? Like, if you have to create 39 ideas for tier sets, you're not going to have 39 good ideas. But every season, they have like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 really fucking good ones. And when you can boil that down and just give everyone, you can come up with 4 good ones, which I don't think winning streak was good. But if you can come up with 4 good ones or 3 good ones, and 75% of the game has a good 2-piece, that's better than coming up with a bunch of random shit that, by the way, normally says like Blade Dance does 10% more damage, and like they're super boring. Like, I think this is way better. All right, www. All right, what do we have to look at now? Oh, did you see the catalyst changes? Nope. Earning bonus catalyst charges in the War Within. Season 2 feats of strength achievement. Okay. Each of the feats of strength for achieving Keystone Master, 1600 in rated PvP, and killing the final raid boss on Heroic or Mythic now grant 1 additional catalyst charge as a reward. But it used to be an Omni token, so I'm assuming they're just giving you a catalyst charge rather than giving you an Omni token. Oh, wait a second. No. I'm totally missing it. You used to get 1 Omni token for doing any 3 of those things, but now you get 1 catalyst charge for all 3, meaning that in week 1 of a new season, you get guaranteed 4-piece if you do all forms of content, right? Wait, this is sick. This is also sick for PvPers, because the last time PvEers felt in some way inclined to do PvP, it was Shadowlands Season 1, and for most of them, it was one of their favorite times PvPing. And I've never really gotten them to quite admit it, but a big reason for that, in my opinion, is because they just got to slaughter PvE idiots. And a lot of people you talk to who are PvEers were like, I actually enjoyed PvPing a little bit because everyone was doing it. You were fighting other PvE idiots. Splits nerfed? No, this changes nothing for splits. I don't think. Because, like, before every single person... This doesn't mean that there won't be Omni tokens on the last boss. That would nerf splits. Did they say that? Because there was Omni tokens through, like... Omni tokens that drop off the last boss specifically. You get, like, 2 or 3 of them in a 30-man. That is not what this is at all, I don't think. But, I mean, once you, like, determine your main, you would just... We could just give them 2 hours to go get all 3 of these things, and then they have 4-piece, right? It also makes random, like, high eye level items matter so much more from, like, Mythic. Because, like, getting Mythic tier is super, super high eye level for the race. And now getting Mythic off-piece slots will be really important, because ideally someone's main in a Raced World First scenario can actually just pick a run out of their 12 characters that has full heroic tier, so you would never use a heroic item for your catalyst charges. So you already have 4-piece, and then we're actually just feeding you Mythic tier because of catalyst, which is going to be insane for eye level with the way we do things. So I think this is actually potentially like pretty significant eye level buffs for the race. If that is the... Bubba's the person to ask for this, but wow. Massive W. That's good. I mean, I think that's good. Like I know there's like a subset of people in WoW that are like, I want to just do my mode of the game and I want to get just as much gear as everyone else. But unfortunately, it totally makes sense from Blizzard's perspective and from like a game design perspective to give players who are willing to not just do Mythic Plus, not just do Raid, but do both and get rewarded for doing both, rather than someone doing both and getting rewarded the same as someone who's only doing one. That makes sense. Now they're pushing that to the extreme. They're like, hey, you guys can get 4-piece in week 1. We're just giving it to you. You can have it, but you have to play all the modes of the game. If you don't want to, that's fine. But I mean, I think that's like perfectly fair. These are not high ratings either, right? Okay, getting AOTC for a lot of people I understand is like, that's difficult. It requires a lot from other people. But like getting 1600 in PvP and getting 2K Mythic Plus score is something that people can do pretty fast. But also, it's kind of weird, but like it feels like in today's day and age, everyone feels like they need to have everything right away or else they're behind. So maybe that would be a negative thing for this. Like a good player, not Race to World first, like where you're getting like 10 splits given to you or whatever, but like a good player being 4-piece ahead of someone in week 1 can feel like kind of a massive gap. That could be something that isn't good. But also it makes you want to play the game more. I don't know. I like it. PTR, data mined class changes, major class changes for everyone. Bro, I need to like get some water, some weird, just fucking cooking right now. Okay, 1 second.
Okay, let's get weird. Oh no, it's the shitty Wowhead version. Oh, these are data mined though. Did Blizzard not make a... Please tell me, guys. Please. Did Blizzard post these? Is the only way that we can actually see the changes is by reading the dogshit Wowhead version? They did. Not all of them though. That's fine. We'll just read whatever's on the Blizzard one, and you guys can fill me in for whatever's not there because I cannot read that shit. It's so bad. Wait, there was one released 30 seconds ago. Oh, yeah, this is most of them. W. Yeah, let's just read the shit. W. We don't care about this. Don't care about this. Don't care about this. Oh, names of the bosses in order. Vexy and the Gear Grinders. Sounds like a multi-target or like ad-focused boss. Cauldron of Carnage. I'm assuming that's the like crazy like Godzilla versus King Kong looking shit. Rick Reverb sounds like the DJ boss. I mean, there's just no fucking way it's not that. I don't think we saw Styx Bunk Junker. Sprocketmonger Lockenstock. What a name. The One-Armed Bandit, I think we saw him. Muggsy, Head of Security, and then Gallywix, W. Heads of Security. Council, second to last boss? Rutrow. Oh, probably a 2-headed ogre? Ooh, we like that. Mama! That's my favorite Migos ad-lib, by the way. That and Cookie. Whenever they're rapping and then they just, one of them in the back goes, Mama! That's my fucking shit, dude. I love that. Okay. Cage of Carnage, PvP, don't care. Classes. Okay. Currently, Frost and Unholy Death Knights are incredibly survivable, often boasting lower death rates than tanks and far above any other specs in the game. From a fantasy perspective, it makes sense for Death Knights to be incredibly durable and their kit lends itself well to it, but it currently leans too far in the unkillable direction. Absolutely true. We fully expect Frost and Unholy Death Knights to continue being one of the more survivable specs, but we should bring them to a more sane level. That's in a fucking update note. I mean, it is true. I don't know if you guys have actually looked at this, but it's fucking insane. Like, here. Let's go back to the previous thing. Not there, not there. Here. Damage, go to deaths. Not here. I'm looking at nothing. Where do I look at this? Where do you... Oh, it's statistics. That's why I'm stupid. Deaths. Guys, look at this. Top 5%, top 10% of players. Bosses, all mythic. Holy Priest is bugged because of the way it shows deaths. Like, for example, if they're not one of the first people who die, but they turn into an angel, and then the boss resets before their angel dies, it doesn't count as a death. That's why they're down there. But look, classes with cheat deaths, rogues, fire mages, Evoker, all the tanks, Unholy and Frosty K. This isn't a bug. This is natty. This is natty. Like, that's natty alive. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. That shouldn't happen ever. That's nuts, you know? That's fucking insane. So it should be nerfed. You could argue it should be nerfed massively. Yeah, Warriors actually... What's funny is Fury is actually tankier than Arms. They just die more because they're significantly more stupid. It's always been a thing. I've never really been able to figure it out. Same thing with BM and MM. BM is not any tankier than MM. It's just more likely that a BM player is more dumb than an MM player. It's a fascinating thing. Yep, anyways, back to the thing. BM is definitely more tanky. All right, I made it up then. What about it? Okay. So let's see how they're nerfing them. Veteran of the Third War now increases stamina by 12%. Was 20. Wrong tab. Did I go to the wrong? Oh, good shout. Let's make this bigger too. Nerfed Veteran of the Third War. Good. Null Magic. The passive magic damage you take was reduced. Good. Permafrost now nerfed. All these things have all been nerfed. And for any other class in the game, you would be like, I'm gonna fucking die. Because these are actually big nerfs. You just lost 8% of your health. But for DKs, you will still never die. I bet if you look at this, you're going to be, I don't know, maybe just above the tanks now. Fucking idiots. I'm a DK too, by the way. Okay, same thing. Nerf Null Magic and Permafrost and this. And then now Apocalypse and Raise Dead now summons ghouls instantly. Yo? Okay, that's sick. Does that mean that they expire earlier to make up for that? Or is that just a straight up DPS increase? I mean, either way, it's better. But, anyways. Demon Hunter. Imprison now breaks based on a small damage threshold instead of any damage. That's goated. So it's going to break like a root. It's going to break like a root rather than a, like, hard CC. Can they do that to, like, paralysis, too? and shit like that, that would be extremely nice. Because, like, there's been so many times over the years where, you would press, like, a CC, and then, like, some random Soulbind or Azerite trait, or just some random thing in the game will just break CCs, and then they have to fix it. But, like, them changing this will make that almost never happen. They did it to, like, all of them. Dude. Spectral Sight has been reworked. No longer removed upon taking action. No longer removed taking it down. Okay. Lost in Darkness has been redesigned. Spectral Sight. I don't care about that. Hero talents. Demon Surge nerfed. Whatever. Okay. Havoc. New talent. Blade Dance automatically trigger. Oh, fuck me up, bro. This is why I stopped playing this class, because this happened. Like, as soon as Blade Dance automatically threw Throw Glaive, I'm like, I can never plus Throw Glaive Natty again. I'm sorry. It's just too good. So fucking God bless. Okay. Cool. Okay. But you do have to select it as a talent. That's fine. Momentum renamed Exergy and has been updated. The Hunt and Vengeful Retreat increase your damage by 5% for 20 seconds. Interesting. So I never really liked new version of Momentum. It just felt like you were pressing buttons for no reason, where I really liked Inertia. But I see Inertia right under there, so I'm about to get real happy or real sad. Let's see. Okay. So I think that's fine. It'll probably still be a choice node. All right. Inertia right after. The Hunt and Vengeful Retreat cause your next Fell Rush or Fell Blade to empower you, increasing damage by 18% for 5 seconds. Okay, so massive shift from what it was. You don't care about, like, the reprocs of Immo Aura and, like, popping off. It's possible that was, like, a bad gameplay loop, even though it was really fun to do. Like, there's a better version of doing that, like incorporating Fellblade. The Hunt doesn't happen. Are they giving you ways to reduce the cooldown on the Hunt again? To where, like, that's going to have a little bit more uptime? I think initially I'm pretty sad about that. That doesn't sound very fun to me. But let's keep going. Unbound Chaos has been updated. The Hunt and Vengeful Retreat cause your next... Okay, so they're just removing all things related to, like, Immo Aura and then causing your Fell Rush to do stuff. Okay. Cycle of Hatred has been redesigned. I-Beam reduces the cooldown of your next I-Beam by 5 seconds, stacking up to 20 seconds. Wait, what? Exegy and Inertia Choice Node have swapped locations with Unbound Chaos, and any means necessary has been removed. I don't like any of that. You know what? I'm going to not even read the Vengeance notes, even though it's unrelated to the Havoc stuff, because I'm sad about the Havoc, and I have to spite something to make up for that, to keep, like, my mental balance. So I'm going to ignore everything that says here about Vengeance, and it never matters to me. Okay. Druid. Many talents have changed positions in the talent tree. Oh, like the general tree? Do we have, like, a screenshot of the general tree? Is that what they're referring to? Because the Druid general tree was actually, it wasn't massively bad, but there were, like, multiple nodes that have, like, 10 question marks next to them as far as their position, and, like, realistically practical gameplay, like how you get to them, are really annoying. But, like, I understand it from a design perspective. They had the 4... Basically, every time I criticized the Druid tree, there were so many problematic nodes. But if you ever want to understand why they're where they are, the person who made it had a hard job that no other talent tree had. There's 4 specs. So they need to have a thematic, like, column for each spec. And, like, naturally the thick hide thing is under the Guardian, because that's just game design stuff. But, like, you don't want to naturally go through Guardian-related feral things if you're a Moonkin, but you absolutely need thick hide, right? So, like, game designers have a interesting balance between making things make sense thematically, which a lot of players care about, and then a lot of high-end players just care about the gameplay implications, and they're just like, this decision makes no sense, I hate it, and they're right. So I think they had a really hard job. I really hope the new Druid tree is good. I don't know if we're able to see it yet, but I would like to make one on my own and see if it's better, because I've criticized it a lot, so I'd like to see the new thing. Okay, so a bunch of new talents. I'm just going to ignore these. Point one of these new talents out if you feel like it's, like, really interesting. But yeah. Whoa, what's happening? Whoa, why did Outlook just try to open? Am I getting hacked? Bro, I just, like, dragged something on the screen and then, like, oh, I hit share. On the Blizzard website, if you highlight something and then move your mouse up, it automatically tries to get you to email this sentence to someone. That seems like, what? Like, who does that? Okay, guys. I'll just email this shit to Dratty. All good. Okay, so some Druid stuff. You guys think anything's good here? Lycara's teaching talent has some fun and unfun cancel ordering implications. Okay, I just won't ever read that then. That sounds annoying. When a hit deals more than 12% of your max health, instantly heal for 10% of your health. This effect cannot occur more than once every 30 seconds. This seems really bad. Because, like it's almost interesting. A talent like this could actually be better
if it still only healed you for 10% of your health, but when a hit deals more than 12%, if this number was way bigger and the ICD was a little shorter, to where it more meant, hey, not only like this is not read the talent above that. Okay, form a bond with an ally. Your self-healing also heals your bonded ally for 10% of the amount healed. Your healing to your bonded ally also heals you for 8% of the amount healed. Ooh. Bro, you just put this shit on a tank, right? That's fucking crazy. That's like broken. In a raid? That is so broken. I mean, even, okay, you guys are thinking blood decays. That's probably an interaction that shouldn't work. But like, maybe it works. But I'm just thinking like any tank just receiving... Tanks just... When healers are floating their little mouse over the raid frames and figuring out who to heal, the tank is a really good target that's currently tanking like a lot. That person's real good, right? Wait, it's your healing? Your healing to your bonded ally also heals you for 8% of the amount healed. Oh, it's Stinky. You have to heal them. Stinky. Bad. Stinky, bad, stink talent. Okay. Ursock Spirit has been updated. Stamina by 4%, stamina and bear by... These bonuses multiply together, so Druid's health and bear form remains unchanged, but you just have more health outside of it. Light of the Sun replaces Skull Bash for balanced Druid only. The remaining cooldown of Solar Beam is reduced by 15 seconds when it interrupts its primary target. Okay, so they're putting the Light of the Sun thing where Skull Bash was, and they're doing the Warrior tech. So Warriors have done this more than any other spec, and they were the first people to do it. I think a few specs implement it now, but they basically make it so the same node on the class tree will be a different button for someone else when it doesn't apply to them. So like Arms and Fury and Prot all have the same class tree, but for some nodes, it's just a completely different talent in the exact same spot, depending on what spec you are. I think they should utilize this more. I'm glad they're doing it for Druid, which means they'll probably utilize it going forward. I think it's just a good thing. And it also took it away from the balanced spec tree, which is, everyone knows how I feel about throughput versus utility things in the spec tree. It's just doesn't mix. I don't know what this means. General buffs of spells, hero talent changes, feral stuff, guardian stuff. I'm not going to put a bunch of time into this. I'll just wait until maybe I hear from some geniuses about what this means. Which means I'll probably have some content next week during Christmas. I bought a Santa hat on Amazon, by the way. Gonna be wearing that shit. It's gonna go crazy. Okay. Resto Druid. All damage reduced by 20%. This damage reduction keeps Resto Druid's physical or magic damage dealt equivalent to previous patches when selecting Circle the Wilds or Circle the Heavens talents. We're making this change with the goal of moving them towards utilizing either of their damaging physical abilities instead of weaving between them both in order to reduce the damage rotation complexity. That sounds like something that a casual Druid player would love, and someone that has actually mastered the weaving would be like, this is boring now. But I don't know if weaving was... Okay, like, not all skill gaps are, like, the same as far as being good, right? Like for example, a Unholy DK back in BFA could make the argument that Festermite was a good thing, the old way that Festermite worked, because it encouraged, like, the ability to outplay people. And while that is true, it was also just fucking bad. You know? It is true. Like, you can outplay people by... being better with them with Festermite. But you know what? It also sucks. And holding GCDs for that long to optimize it fucking sucks. And they should have changed it. So like both, you can understand both opinions, but just one of them's wrong. Not all skill gappy type design is good. Rescue now clears movement impairing effects from you and your target. So we already knew about that, I think, but that's so broken. That is so broken. Sleepwalk now has a 1.7 second cast time. Unplayable. Hero talents, yeah, Flame Shaper stinks for DPS, so let's see. They're just buffing it. Cool. I'll look more at that later. Augmentation, skipping out of spite. Devastation, Disintegrate ticks one additional time, but deals 8% less damage. What? Why is that relevant? Does Disintegrate ticking do some kind of thing? Does it have some kind of interaction? Essence ability CDR? Oh, okay, I see. So it's like a CDR talent. Scorching Embers damage now increases scales with power level. I don't even know why I'm reading this. I don't fucking care. Okay, Hunter. Oh, Giga Hunter changes. Okay. Let me see if I can pick out some things I understand. Nope. Okay, Dark Ranger. Withering Fire has been up. Nope, still don't get it. Cool. Pack Leader. New talent, Howl of the Pack Leader. Every 30 seconds, your next kill command will summon the aid of one of these animals. Your bear leaps into the fray, rending flesh. Your wyvern increases the damage you and your pets deal, and the boar charges into battle doing heavy damage. Okay. That's good. I mean, this is... So... I think all of us were saying from the beginning that Pack Leader needed to feel like it's basically just like a BM Hunter on crack. Like, you clearly need to add more animals into the mix, even though I know that's BM Hunter's fantasy, but like, Pack Leader was just so bland. So both visually and I'm guessing like interesting wise, like they need to buff Pack Leader a lot, and this kind of sounds like it's going in the right direction. New talent, Better Together. Howl of the Pack Leader's cooldown is reduced 25 seconds. Your pets gain an extra 5% of your attack power. Dire Summons Kill Command reduces the cooldown of Howl. Oh, they like Did they completely remake Pack Leader? Right? It's completely, literally completely just like start from scratch. The following talents have been removed. All of them. It's completely different. Okay. W. You missed an entire Hunter post? Yeah, that was on purpose. So Hunter's getting crazy changes. Okay, that's really cool. Sentinel. Lunar Storms. Many things about Lunar Storm have been... Okay. Our goal of these changes is helping Lunar Storm feel like more of a moment by reducing its frequency and increasing its damage. We're also looking to increase its... But you know what? I like this paragraph. Let me email this to Dratnos. A second. Okay, Outlook is not opening. All right, didn't work. BM, bunch of new talents. I don't know enough about it to really care. I'll just probably talk to a genius once they can think about it. Hope. Wait, what is Hunter? Moving into Undermined, we're looking to reimagine Mark's sharpshooter fantasy and reconcile some large spec friction points such as Lone Wolf. Undermined is seeing marksmen lose their pet functionalities and is instead joined in a battle by a unique eagle pet that will exist outside the game space but continue to support you in combat in a uniquely marksman way. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. 24 new talents? What has been removed? Everything? What the fuck? Dratnos needs to know about this. It keeps trying to update to open Outlook. Bro, why do I even have Outlook on my computer? Read the first one? Okay. If it's bad, I'm never reading any more Hunter stuff. Okay, new ability, Harrier's Cry. Your eagle descends from the sky with a screech, giving the signal to attack. Increases haste by 30% for all party and raid members for 40 seconds. Allies receiving this, they just get lust, right? So a marksman hunter just gets lust. That's it? Okay. Skipping all of Hunter stuff because you did that. All right, Mage. Mass Barrier mana cost reduced. Polymorph, health regen reduced by 50. Polymorph now breaks based on a small damage. Okay, W, changes to CC, like that. Our updates to Frostfire Mage are focused on reducing the incentive to track auras and make the talents more connected and conducive with each other. W, and they should do that for... They've done it really well with some. Like there's some hero talents you would need weak auras for that are built into the UI really well, and there are others where it's like weak aura simulator. So very, very... I'm glad they just typed this in general, that they're aware of that. Skip survival. I know. I said what I said. Cool. So Frostfire stuff, Sun Fury stuff. Arcane. We're happy with where Arcane's gameplay has landed. Our primary goal is to simplify the number of variables one has to consider when casting Arcane Barrage. Okay. Fire. Fire's resource economy post the War Within has been too generous, which has made certain spells like Fireball and Scorch feel unnecessary while also impacting how we can tune Pyroblast and Flamestrike. This is what people like to read. The War Within has been too generous. We think you're casting your fillers not as often, so let's get back to doing that. Our goal here is to reduce your access to Phoenix Flames and less so Fire Blast while amping up your spenders to help increase skill expression, increase your reliance on casting, and make your exciting spells a bit harder. We'll be monitoring these changes and adjusting accordingly. Okay, get mad, Fire Mages. All right, bunch of changes. Too stupid, though. I don't understand them. I read dev notes because that's written for me. Freezing Winds was impacting our ability to access Frozen Orb and put more power into Fingers of Frost. With the addition of hero talents, Frost is more flooded with Fingers of Frost than ever before. And we'd like to reduce Fingers of Frost proc rate so it can feel more meaningful when you have it, while also giving us the design space to do more with it in the future. Woo! Mage stuff. Monk. Here we go, baby. Let's fucking go. Windwalker changes. I can feel it. Change to Paralysis, just like I said earlier. Love that. Mistweaver. We're making several updates to Mistweaver focused on smoothing out their healing output on varying target sizes and shifting rotational damage priority to a more intuitive space, where players should optimally use each offensive spell should be more obvious. So just make them light up, right? Emperor's Favor. I don't know what these mean. I almost started reading that. New talent, Slicing Winds. What, Plunderstorm? Envelop yourself in razor sharp winds, then lunge forward, dealing nature damage to enemies in your pass. Damage reduced beyond 5 enemies. Hold to increase... It's the Plunderstorm ability. And it replaces Flying Serpent Kick and makes it do damn. Bro, that's fucking sick. Let's go. That is also, that's kind of significant in other ways. Isn't this the... People were wondering after they came out with Evoker... People were saying, when was the first time someone else is going to get an Empower ability? But Slicing Winds is exactly an Empower ability, right? So this is the first case of another class receiving an Empower in a good way. The way Empower works on Slicing Winds is very, very good. There's a scenario where you would want to use each Empower. It makes sense. Earth and Racial's Empower? Who the fuck said that first? You're fucking gone. Don't ever talk to me like that again. That's an insane example. All right. Mastery. Combo Strikes. Effectiveness increased by 35%. We're increasing the value Mastery does with the goal of pushing it as a stat. They should have done this a long time ago. Yeah, I permabanned him. I didn't need to permaban him. I probably overreacted, but... Anytime your secondaries are getting better, that's a good sign for you as a class. I am plotting your downfall as we speak. All right. Dance of the Wind has been redesigned. Now reduces physical damage taken by 10% and an additional 10% every 4 seconds until you receive a physical attack. What? Bro, that's fucking insane. That used to be dodge. That's so insane, though. Like, wait, oh, wait, can you only pick... No, you can pick this as Windwalker. But it was there because of, like, Brewmaster, right? But can you imagine a boss like Sludge Fist? How immortal this would make you? You don't take a lot of physical damage, but, like... Oh, I guess you have, like, a physical dot, but maybe that would be tracked differently. But, like, anytime there's a boss that just does a massive physical hit, like in a dungeon, you're just invulnerable to that attack. That's so OP. This is actually just really OP in dungeons. There's just random dungeon bosses. You guys ever done high keys and, like, there's this random physical roar that doesn't matter for, like, key levels 2 through 15, but on like a 17 you just need to see if you have enough verse to even live the roar that he does every like 20 seconds, or a slam, and then this just, you pick this talent and that's just gone. You just never think about, oh, I clicked the email button. Okay, crazy. All damage done reduced by 2%. L. Spinning crane kick damage increased by 80. Okay, there must be nerfing Chi-Ji then or something, right? Because that's a big... I mean, a spinning crane kick is just kind of undertuned in general. 80 is a big number, though. Courageous Impulse now increases the damage of Blackout Kick by 350. Shadowboxing Treads now increases the damage of Blackout Kick by 10, was 20, and the following talent's been removed. Darting Hurricane and Mark of the Crane. Con of the Celestials, Heart of the Jade Serpent no longer reduces the cooldown on Rising Sun Kick or Flying Serpent. Okay. Wait, Mark of the Crane is gone. And that's why they buff Spinning Crane Kick. So they're just giving you the benefits of having Mark of the Crane out, but just removing it. That's like bittersweet for me. I think I used to really like Mark of the Crane management, but I think the game has gotten to the point where it's kind of just extra. Like, I think two things can be true. I think it is good that Mark of the Crane existed, like back in Legion especially, but I think that like now it isn't good because the way you play specs have changed and they've simplified a lot of other things. Okay. Seal the Crusade Paladin. Can ignore most of this. Oh, Blinding Light and Repentance now break on a damage threshold instead of breaking on any damage. Okay, so Repentance is the more normal like one for this. It's really interesting they're doing that on Blinding Light because a lot of time you use Blinding Light in a pack as CC, but the fact that it's not just going to instantly break now and they'll just break like kind of staggered out of it is pretty good. Even though like you're hitting them with a bunch of abilities, so it'll probably break pretty fast. It's still like a quarter of a second later probably. 0 Brewmaster changes. Stay small. Drink brew. Holy. Blessing of Freedom increases. Oh, they gave... Oh, wow. They gave Holy... This is so... Dude, Dryny's nutting right now. They gave Holy Paladin the ret and prot only thing where when you use a Blessing of Freedom on someone else, it also gives it to you. And it's a movement speed increase. That's huge. This is so useful in raiding. It's so fucking good. Unending Light has been redesigned. I don't know what this means. I don't know what Holy Power stuff means. We're just gonna skip all this shit real quick. Go to Prot and Ret, probably. I don't know what this means either. W, Ret, Flash of Light healing increased. Word of Glory Mana Cross has been increased. Healing Hands not only functions to Word of Glory, it's healing on the paladins themselves. And Divine Toll will now cast judgments at units near your main target, even if you're not in combat with them. Huh? Oh, was it true that you would just Divine Toll like out of combat on one target, but you're not in combat with the others, so it'll just not throw the judgments? I didn't even know that was a thing. Divine Toll would sometimes just randomly only hit one mob, and it was super annoying. Yeah, that makes total sense. Okay, so that's a good change. Discipline. The goal of these changes is to reduce the number of cooldowns Disc has access to and bake some of their power into other abilities. In addition, we're resolving some pain points in the talent tree and making it easier to quickly get atonements on allies by moving Overloaded with Light into a more central location. Finally, we're retheming Purge the Wicked into a shadow spell so that Twilight Equilibrium can be more constantly activated. I don't know what I just said, any of those words, so we're going to skip all of this and just have someone else tell me what that means. Shadow Word Pain should be an important part of Disc's overall healing on atonement targets to provide a steady stream of healing over time. Its damage has been weaker than we'd like, especially compared to other spells, so we're buffing it. Cool. That did you really have to like? That's a lot of words to just say like that's implied with the. It's all good. W. Holy, we're aiming to provide a better experience to Divine Hymn while pulling back the number of raid cooldowns available. They killed raid ramp for Disc. Oh, that's interesting. Dude, L Nick. Find a new class, buddy. Find a new class. Okay, we're also doing some consolidation in the tree by removing Circle of Healing and adding more interactions to Prayer of Healing. Finally, we're looking to provide some options for gameplay around Renew. Ooh. I'm skipping everything here, but it looks like they massively reworked a lot of Holy stuff. There's just, they removed almost 10 talents. They made 6 more, a 1-pointer. Holy shit. Okay, that's gonna feel way different, right? Like, that's crazy. Blizzard skipped Shadow. Yeah, get mad. Blind and Gouge now break on. Yep, cool. Outlaw, some stuff. Shaman. Ooh, okay. Yeah. I like Shaman. Ghost Wolf visuals have been updated to scale player model. Lightning Bolt is a new spell visual. Ancestral Guidance has been removed. Oh, we have a couple of goals we're trying to address this change. One is to reduce the overlap between Ascendance and Ancestral Guidance for Resto. They both serve a similar purpose and are often combined together. Second, we'd like to bolster, enhance, and Ellie's off-healing utility from the intentional global cooldown usage while pulling back on more passive ways to restore group health. In other words, they think AG was just too strong from DPS shamans, which objectively true, especially since they nerfed like the Nature's Vigils of the world and stuff like that. Like objectively that is true, but I feel like a lot of shamans always used to be like, that's kind of that's our niche. Like we can do this and other people can't. But it is simply just way, way better than like Vampiric Embrace and Nature's Vigil. It's like kind of the only thing and they spent a lot of last expansion like nerfing a lot of those things, and it's still just insane. I can't speak on how it affects Resto Shamans because I'm stupid. But for DPS Shamans, I actually think again, if you're a Shaman player and you're losing something that gives you value, you're like, this is bad. As someone like kind of sees the whole game, I think it makes sense. I'm sorry if you don't agree with that. All right, Deeply Rooted Elements is now a small percent chance per Maelstrom spent rather than being a flat chance per Maelstrom spender. Okay. P-Wave has been redesigned. Now deals a high amount of damage to all targets affected by your Flame Shock. Primordial Wave is a complicated spell to manage to get optimal use out of. We're adjusting it to be more of a big damage impact upon activating the ability rather than priming your next Lava Burst to hit many targets. Healing Stream Totem healing is increased by 80%. That's a big number. I know it's like off healing, but I mean, I guess that's like intentional healing. Honestly, that sounds pretty good. Enhance. Enhanced Shaman currently have Maelstrom weapon spending abilities that potentially do very high damage while their melee abilities are not hitting as hard, and we would like them to be. We're redistributing some of your overall damage to be less weighted towards spenders and more towards your melee abilities, and making some buffs like Feral Spirits always grant bonuses to your physical damage abilities regardless of what talent options you have chosen. Okay. New talent, Primordial Storm. P-Wave transforms into a single-use Primordial Storm for 15 seconds after it is cast. Devastate nearby enemies with Primordial Storm, dealing Flame Strike, Frost Strike, Storm Strike damage, and unleashing a Lightning Bolt or a Chain Lightning of 150% effectiveness. Deals reduced damage beyond 5 targets. Consumes all Maelstrom weapon for increased damage. So basically, P-Wave is no longer like 2 button presses. It's just you press P-Wave at 10 Maelstrom and it just spends it and just blasts. I think that's really good because Enhance already has so much going on that just seems like a good way to streamline things. But also, it's a combo. So when you use it, it transforms into a single use one. So it's instead of pressing P-Wave and then Lightning Bolt or Tempest or whatever, you're just pressing P-Wave and then P-Wave. Okay. Still more simple. Cool. Molten Thunder has been updated. Sundering has a 40% chance to reset its own cooldown, increased by 12% for up to 5 targets. Each consecutive reset reduces these chances by half. Oh, interesting. So your first Sunder is guaranteed to reset, and your second one has a 50% chance, and then a 25. Molten Thunder proc rates were a bit too unpredictable, causing significant shifts in damage output, especially during the Totemic Hero talent tree. Additionally, we're transferring some power away from Tremor and Earth Surge and putting it in other abilities, okay? Elemental Spirits have been updated. Your Feral Spirits now imbue with Fire Frost or Lightning, increasing your damage dealt with that element by 10%, but now only increase your physical damage dealt by 10%. What? I don't remember what it was. I mean, they said in the update note that they wanted the physical damage thing to be there like all the time or something. I don't know. Voltaic Blaze has been updated. High chance to make your next Flame Shock become this. With this change, we're making it more consistent. Cool. Lashing Flames has been updated. Oh my god. Please not be annoying. Lava Lash and Sundering increase the damage of Flame Shock on its target. Oh, it is the same. Oh, you can AoE apply it. Oh, that's not the same. That's very, very, very good. That's very good. Okay, nice. Fuck yeah. That is, bro, tab target Lava Lash lashing flames. This is exactly like Festermite. You could make the argument that Lashing Flames is good design only on Lava Lash because you can outplay someone else by spreading it better while still doing all of the same damage you're trying to do. But also, you're wrong because it sucks, you know? Okay, Primordial Wave has been updated. Now deals a high amount of damage to all targets affected by your Flame Shock. We already talked about that. Storm Strike is now learned at level 10, was a talent, +1 talent. The primary resource system Maelstrom weapon was very noticeable as a passive in the spellbook. To address this, we're making Storm Strike the introductory ability and replacing its spot on the talent tree with Maelstrom weapon alongside this update. Oh, so it's not +1 talent point. It's just a leveling thing. Okay, so I'm seeing big buffs here. Storm Strike damage, Ice Strike, Lava Lash, Crash Lightning, all buffed by 100 to 200%. That means they're definitely turbo nerfing like Lightning Bolt, Ellie Blast, Chain Lightning, Tempest, right? But I think that's fair. Like, if you asked me if Enhance was a little too spender heavy, I'd probably say probably true. There's a long dev note here. Summarize? I'll just email it to Draddy and he'll get back to me.
No more spell highlighting. Too much flashing. Oh, yeah. To be honest with you, I play Enhanced Shaman with a super optimized UI with weak auras that like is smarter about the glowing. So I haven't used the default UI version of Enhanced for a while, but I bet this is directly related to that, and it probably is a problem, and I'm just completely unaware of it because I've designed my UI around it. Okay. Just so many other changes that we're gonna just go by because my brain's getting fried here. Too much talking today, and I got an important night tonight. I gotta be on top of my shit. Going to a nice place. Gonna blow up. Oh yeah, let me show you guys the fit once I get done reading this shit. I think this is the last thing we have to look at today, I think. We went through everything. Downpour now overrides healing rain for 8 seconds with 6 seconds. Starter build's been updated. Warlock, warrior, you know, warrior, right? Delves. Oh, I fucking love Delves. Okay, Bran can tank. He's learned some new talents. Dungeons, affixes we read already. There's mythic changes down. I mean, mythic plus, we've already looked at that. Unless, like, mythic changes. Wait, did I miss something? Delves give... Where did you guys read the delve thing? Where does it say delves? It's a different post. Okay, we'll look at that in a second. Okay, we can ignore everything PvP related, of course. User interface and accessibility. Please, God, let them have the ability to white and blacklist debuffs. And separate your energy and or combo point type thingies from your health frame in default UI. Please, God. It is by far the most important thing default UI needs. Okay, nothing. All right. Where's the separate post about the gilded shit? Oh, here we go. Season 2 will add options to obtain Gilded Crests from Delves from something called Delves Gilded Stash Tier 11 from Delver's Bounties Tier 8 and up. We're unsure exactly how you get the higher tier crest, and there might be restrictions. Right now, this information is data mined only. Delver's Bounty may be something related to your weekly vault, but we are unsure. So in some way, you're able to get Gilded Crests from Delves, and no matter how that is, it's a W for sure. Just how much of one, unsure until we see it. Those mole people will be sad since they hate doing anything above an 8 now. I mean, they'd probably like it more than doing a fucking +8 in dungeons. Check tank brand? No. Oh, here's the mount. Dude, it actually is. So your character is in, like... a second. Your character is in there. Like, you'll see your character's face. And then you're going to fly around on a goblin head smoking a cigarette with machine guns. Oh, no, there's a chair on top. Okay, well, Gallywix... When you fight Gallywix, his head is inside this, like, thing. That's why I was confused. Okay, either way. I mean, this, purely subjective, but I feel like this moves into, like, top 10 mounts in the game. If you remove nostalgia. I mean, it's a crazy mount. It's also huge. Also, dear God, are we going to make gold from selling this thing? Dear God. Love that. Love that. When was the last second raid of an expansion where you sold hella mounts? Jaina, right? Jaina was crazy. New Warband Campfire character selection screens data mined.
Yo!
That's me. That's me. Dude, I feel like it's not getting a ton of hype because, like, right now is just a pretty low time for retail. It usually happens halfway through the patch, but this time specifically, it seems pretty low. But I feel like Season 2 is as hype as I can remember. Not even recency. Like, it's the new thing. Like, I've seen patches announced, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, I just feel like the theme and the aesthetic are, like, 100% good. Like, they're probably the best they've been in a long time. The car looks sick. They're actually making... Like, the change... Wasn't, like, basically every change announced today a W? Like, all of them? Some of them are, like, kind of subjective, but there's a lot that are just, like, guaranteed bangers. Like, just good changes. Insane quality of life announced today. I had someone in your guild quitting WoW over the tier sets. He's such a doomer. Yeah, I mean, the reality is probably something like that. They just wanted to quit anyway, right? Happens. Threat buffed for tanks. I think in general, this is always good. I would even go as far as to say is like threat is almost like an outdated mechanic. Like threat in a perfect world, if you play tank properly, you always have threat. And if you don't play properly, you can lose threat. If it's perfectly made and that's exactly how it works, I think threat is a mechanic that should be in the game and it is a good thing. But the problem is there's always scenarios that happen because of how bursty certain specs are and how little AoE damage some tanks do, especially when they're picking up mobs and have a bunch of GCDs to press, that you can be playing tank perfect and you could lose threat on a mob and someone dies. And that makes, like, that interaction is so bad for the game. So, I think just in general, buffing, what's the problem with buffing threat? The only potential problem is someone who's not playing tank properly will hold threat. And is that really a bad thing? Because the alternative of having threat be too low
is that good players will lose threat when they're playing properly, which is infinitely worse than just, oh no, someone who's not playing tank the best has threat. You know what? Everyone in the party's happy when that tank has threat, so all good, you know? Threat needs to be a timed debuff on a mob to make sure the tank keeps its attention. That's crazy. That would be so bad. That would be so stinky. It would be stinky, stinky, bad, bad. What is the alternative to threat not existing? Mobs just automatically attacking tanks? That's kind of lame. No, it's more like threat is buffed to such an extreme way that, like, if a tank has even looked at a mob, it'll have threat on it. Or, like, if it hits it, like, with the cleave from Keg Smash, it would have threat over being... It would basically forever, yeah. Like, if it's in combat with a tank, it will hit the tank. Basically. So I think it existing is something... Does he read YouTube? Yes, I have. I read a couple things from YouTube today. Most notably, New Boot Goofin'. That was definitely my favorite thing I've read in a while on YouTube today. Max, please stop streaming so I can go eat dinner. Thanks. All right, shit.